this party started, folks. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wanderer's Haven. We have a very special episode 4 of Intresca's Requiem, a homebrew game that I have been putting together for years and years and years. And finally, thanks to this awesome group of people, am getting to actually bring it to the masses, and I'm very much looking forward to where this next episode brings for all of you fine people that are watching us. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's go around the table real quick and introduce folks. Why don't we start with Kevin?
Oh my gosh.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the masses, please?
I will. It's like that part when you're in the restaurant and they're like, you take a bite and how was your food, sir? That's what's going on. I'm over here like picking at my eye and stuff. Anyway,
that's exactly why I chose you. In fact,
I figured it was. Darn these seasonal allergies. Anyway, hi, I'm Kevin, and I am returning tonight. I am playing Valiant Illustrial, who is a high elven member of the nobility who has been saddled with these others who are, he doesn't believe, are perhaps quite up to the task at hand. He is a highly skilled blade singer wizard, so he is here to deal out some death where it is needed. But yeah, I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be here, and dive back into this, so thank you.
Note, we didn't say what he is skilled at. And in that vein, Jeremy, you're skilled at stuff, right?
I am skilled at not noticing when my entourage is slowly being crushed to death while I talk with apparently homeless people who are starving. So you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Zorvir, the Aarakocra bard who acts as the tax man for the Empire, and is fairly, even though he's very intelligent and somewhat wise, he's maybe not the most with it, we'll say.
Which is funny because he's one of the most observant individuals, both with insight and perception, and his investigation ain't that bad either.
He has some like beliefs that kind of cloud his vision. Let's say it that way.
Would you say that he's bird-brained?
Oh, I would say that he's bird-brained.
Yikes!
Starting strong.
Indeed. Wow, I can't follow that up. Ian, please save me.
I got.
By the way, thank you, dude, so much for. We can see you so clearly now. Your camera upgrade is amazing. Love it.
Yeah.
Funny story, right? This is the camera that I use for work, and it's just sitting right next to the camera that I use for everything else. And I went,
Nice.
I went,
Nice.
I spent money on this. I should probably use it. So, yeah.
Call.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Ian. I play Akrish Shoredroppin, the Dragonborn warlock with a splash of barbarian, and he's a student of the Empire Academy, and I'm just ready to get into what we've got going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being part of this. Absolutely love you. You're bringing something special here to all of this shenaniganery.
Stop.
I gotta say,
Stop.
I
Keep
love
going.
all the fellow members of my production team. Don't get me wrong, but you and Deb are really elevating this show. Thank you so much. Speaking of elevating the show, Deb, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Yes, I'm Deb. That's me. I'm the one who has the pet interruptions during the stream. Occasionally, my cats like to show up, and usually there's one sitting right behind the camera, which is fun. I am playing Cassia. She's a knowledge domain cleric, following the Ascendant of Praxis, and she's got a few secrets up her sleeve. She's also the resident Resurrector, which came in handy last week.
Right. Very handy. Resurrector in chief, we might say. And you seem to think that your cats are interrupting the show. I believe that they are enhancing. Yes, very
yes.
Right.
Yes, indeed. Until they start, biting me or whatever. Maybe that's also an enhancement. I don't know.
And to be honest, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you realize the animals are part of the show.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Beth, speaking of animals, How you doing?
Hey, I was waiting for that.
Oh.
Woo! Hi, everyone. I'm Beth, and I am playing Oscar Barrick, who is a human fighter. He's kind of a high-ranking military dude, now military strategist, and some things happened to him last episode. So if you missed it, go back and watch me just be devastated the whole time.
That's great.
But yeah, a lot. I cried a lot. It was fun, cathartic. Yeah, I'm excited. Miko, you said that this was a very special episode 4. Does that mean we're all gonna like learn to not do drugs in this after school special?
I mean, I think that there might be some incentive for you guys to start doing drugs after this session.
Oh
but
shit. Okay.
It's
Good
a
to know.
full
And now
dare
you know.
program.
Yeah.
You know, it's half the
Went there.
battle.
You might need antidepressants. I don't know. That's a common thing for people that play in games with me. But speaking of me, hi everyone. I am Miko. I am the ultimate antidepressant. No, that's not true. I am the OKSGM. You can find me in all the socials at _KS_GM, and I get to play everybody else in this absolutely fun game that we have going on here. Love those guys. Speaking of other people we love G and Peku. They are awesome map makers. I'm borrowing the use of one of their scenes, which is a new thing that they're doing on Patreon, that you get to see in the background of this and in the bumpers, when you don't have to look at our ugly mugs, and tabletopaudio.com, who are amazing and produce some of the best music that you can have for your TTRPGs, whether they're home games, stream games, whatever. And they do a lot of stuff for free, not just Patreon stuff, which is, I support them on Patreon and have so for many years and will continue to do so for many years, I imagine. And that's it, I think, for all of the obligatory stuff that we need to get done, the introductions.
I'd like
and
to
all
thank
that.
my parents for making me so I could be here tonight.
That's a stretch, I think. Thanking your parents.
I want to thank the Academy, and I want to thank everyone who voted. And
And on that note, before I
yeah,
meet
we're
these
getting it all
people,
out now.
let us dive in. So, Ysterra is a world built on magic. It is inherently comprised of magic. It permeates everything throughout its entire world and beyond. And one of the most interesting aspects, at least for me anyway, of the world is that the pantheon of ascendants that guard this world from the threats from the multiverse and beyond, they run the gamut of personalities and appearances and domains, and all of them have their own danes and ways of protecting this world that everyone cherishes so much. And in this world that is cherished so much, we are currently finding ourselves in a time perhaps forgotten to most that are not historians, that being a few thousand years in the past, when the vast civilization of Intresca turned into an empire, when it had conquered almost the entirety of the continent on which it laid its foundations. All except, of course, the wild tribelands, which no one can tame or conquer. And in this era, the great Emperor Gerantin found himself at a crossroads, that is, believing himself to possess the power of the Ascendants themselves. He has been exemplary in finding ways to expand the vast empire that he now controls, to bringing in all of the various cultures and peoples of the various lands into and under the umbrella of the Intrescan might. And that's where we find some of the individuals that you see on your screens now. These people are important people in the Empire, each with their own tasks and duties that have brought them to this place. Under the guidance of the Emperor, they have been tasked with quelling a rebellion vast, far off, as almost as far away from the capital city as you can possibly get, you find yourselves in the vast east, where things are very different from the megatropolis capital that is Ysterra, the place that most of you have called home for almost your entire lives. And here you have had a bit of an awakening to perhaps the world beyond your comforts of the city, where people are not doing so well, where there is starvation, where there is homelessness, as was discussed a little bit earlier, and where there is desperation. And in desperation, all of you, very important individuals to the Empire, found yourselves attacked by some of these people in desperation. A ambush was set up. Catastrophe struck your caravan as you traveled beyond and further east you went. And in this destruction that occurred, a good number of the entourages that you had brought with you perished in the assault by these desperate people. Thankfully, as important as all of you are, you found yourselves able to survive the event, and those others amongst your entourages that also survived, as injured as they were, there was a discussion that took place in which it was decided that they should perhaps turn back, that perhaps this critical task that you are on at the behest of the Emperor might be yours and yours alone, and too perhaps difficult for some of the more mundane, given how special you all are, chosen of course by the Emperor. In this task, you found yourselves with gathered information, with talking to some of those desperate people that had attacked you, and with some of the intelligence that had been gathered before your departure, on your way to the Ramparts of Rhaleren, a abandoned fortification, somewhat deep in the mountains, and a place that had long since been abandoned by the Aegis battalions, and a group seemingly taken up residence within it known as the Reclaimed, individuals that at this point you understand to be the predominant individuals associated to, or organization associated to, the rebellion, the ones that are spurring on this influence across the society that is in such stark contrast to the Empire and the beliefs of the Empire. In this journey into the mountains, you have gone several days on horseback, and as you have ventured forth, haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to discuss much. Some of you have chosen not to discuss the things that had transpired in the assault on your caravan, perhaps out of just not wanting to face it, or the sheer harshness of what had transpired, or perhaps you were just dedicated to the cause of what was before you and felt the need to press on and get done. Whatever the reason, you now find yourselves in the mountains where winter still holds a small amount of sway. Coming into the spring season, this might feel somewhat reminiscent to the past year of winter that all of you had just got done dealing with, but in the northern mountains here, or eastern mountains here, it perhaps bites a little bit more. And as you see coming into the evening, this far off fortification, the Rampart of Rhaleren, what is it that you would all like to do in preparation as you go to face the Reclaimed?
Well, I think before we just head in there, rather than going up to the front gate and announcing ourselves, there is a back way we could go. It, I think, will require a bit of athleticism on our parts. It'll take a bit of climbing, but I've got the gear for it, and I think we can handle it. I also think that it might be advantageous for us.
Is this a stealthy climb?
As stealthy as we can be.
I flap my wings, just kind of like, not like showing off, but just like absent-mindedly, and start rooting around in my stuff. And I'll come back to that in a moment.
So to be sure, we're attacking with subterfuge, guile, and under the cover of darkness, I assume.
Sounds about right.
Very well.
I'm all for not marching straight to the front door, but I will also say that strength and athleticism are not my particular gifts.
Well,
I will meander up next to Cassia and pull out a small pin that looks like a feather, and I'll hand it over to you, just in case you happen to slip and fall. This will soften your landing.
I believe I have a matching pin,
Oh,
but I appreciate your generosity.
I mean, maybe if anyone else could use it.
well, Cassia, I have a potion that might be able to help you. If that would be beneficial, just to ensure that we make it up there safely.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
For what it's worth, you all also do have a decent volume of supplies on your horses. Now, granted, the horses are not going to be making this climb with you, but you do have like rope and some small amount of climbing gear. You don't have individualized climbing sets to give you, bonuses in total, but from the mechanical side of things, this is going to be a group skill check, assuming that each of you is going to be helping one another in endeavoring your way up this mountain. So depending upon how the total rolls go, which will determine whether or not you were successfully able to transcend the snowy cliffs, and also how quietly you are able to transcend them.
Makes sense.
Excellent.
Beric, what is your knowledge of this back entrance?
That's a great question that I'd be happy to answer for you with a lot of knowledge. So, I know that there is a climbing route that we can access. It's not exactly a place that would be expected, as far as I know, which kind of makes it perfect. I think that with what we have, with all of our gear, we should be okay to do it. But I definitely think that, it's going to take a little bit of energy. So if we need to rest up beforehand, we can definitely do that.
Well, now, Sir Beric, I don't want to go stumbling into any more surprises, and I'm curious as to how did you know of this unexpected back door?
I've been here. I was posted here for actually quite a while, so I'm familiar with the area, and if you spend enough time here, you kind of, find your way around things.
I see. So these bandits that we're going to face, are they're newly moved in, so to speak?
Would I know that, Miko?
Yeah, you would have.
Okay.
You would have gotten reports that would have crossed Beric's desk, and given Beric's personal connection with the Rampart, it being his first assignment and all of that when he joined the battalions, I think it probably would stand out as a report that Beric would pay attention to, and he would know, certainly he knows the history of the Rampart, and he would know that there was, it is known that that there is a mercenary company that has taken up root in the ruins of the Rampart.
Well, not to say that nobody knows about the back way. I can't really speak to that. You know, for how long they've been here, they might have discovered everything or nothing. But I do know that it's not a route that is especially visible until you reach a certain point. So I think we would be pretty safe for a bit, and then, you know, then we kind of will get to the point where we might need to be especially sneaky.
So you say that you were stationed here. How is it that the Empire has lost its grip on this rampart?
I mean,
It
how
seems
is it?
like if we hadn't given it over to these mercenaries, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are right now.
I don't think that's the sole reason for the situation that we're in, but
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
It would seem it simply no longer serves a purpose, so therefore it's not important to the Empire any longer.
Well, now we're going to take it back for the Empire, so it seems like it does have a purpose.
True.
Don't mind me. Sometimes I just think aloud.
What
Akris,
do
how
you
are
think,
you feeling?
young Akris? Do you believe that you have the wherewithal to be able to climb up over the mountain, to scale it, as it were?
If that's what is to be done, I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. Akris isn't talking. He's kind of just trying to stay focused on getting this done. Yeah.
Don't worry, young sir. I've got your back and your tail should you fall.
I do appreciate that. Like I said, I think I'll be okay. I'm still pretty young, but I have a couple tricks as well.
You do.
Then he turns into a giant eagle. No.
Me too. Oh wait,
Oh,
done.
No, I'll be fine. I just
Guest
try to stay
starring.
focused.
hey.
How long of a climb do we believe it will be, Beric? I hate to scuff up my clothing.
GM, how long of a climb will it be?
It's a relatively easy climb at first when you're going in. It doesn't get difficult until maybe the last couple of minutes of the climb. Before that, it's more of a like walking up narrow ledges sort of pass type
Okay.
situation. And it isn't until you're like about 40 or 50 feet below the edge of the rampart that you actually have to start climbing.
I can't say for certain that this is the best route, but it feels like it might be. I don't know what condition it was left in after the attack from the tribe lands. It might just be exactly as I left it. Maybe not. But from my viewpoint, I think that this is probably our best bet. But I think we should make a decision, yes or no, and just get moving.
Oh, forgive me. I thought we had already made a decision. You made it sound like you were rather already very straight and narrow about what exactly the plan was. Are we not all going up over the mountain?
No, I'm happy to do so.
I think it's the best plan we have.
It's the only plan we have.
Excellent, then. So,
All right.
Develian's going to turn, and as he turns, he takes a step towards the mountain. His clothes, like, shimmer and shift, and the shift weave becomes a whole, like, totally black outfit. Still very regaled and looks nice, but now it's all black and form-fitting and tight, so he can, like, climb properly.
Sick.
Does anyone else have any shape-shifting clothes they would like to employ as you begin to make your way towards the rampart proper?
No, mine's just bigger on the inside.
Hold on.
Nice.
I just have something that just messes people up when they touch me.
I just have boring clothes.
Aw.
That's okay.
All right, then. So as you veer off of the winding, almost 2-kilometer-long path that leads up to the front entrance of the rampart, Barrick leads you all down slightly into some of the valley foothills surrounding the mountain on which the Rampart of Rhaleren rests. The rampart itself, a fortress basically carved into the flanks of the mountain, it is worth mentioning, once stood as a far-removed sentinel on the frontier of the Empire. It is set at one of the furthest outposts from the capital, Ysterra, and it was the first line of defense against the many relentless tribal barbarian assaults that have plagued this portion of the lands of the Empire for many generations. Throughout its history, the Rampart of Rhaleren stood as a beacon of resilience and cunning, protecting the Empire from these countless invasions, and it was the linchpin of the Empire's defenses for quite some time, though its remote location plagued it tremendously, as it was fairly far from vital trade routes and often deprived of the resources necessary for long periods of warfare. But it didn't diminish the fort's strategic significance in any way, and it honed a fairly good reputation for resilience, forging some of the best and strongest soldiers in the entirety of the Aegis battalions. It was notorious, in fact, for its harsh postings and serving as a testing ground for only the strongest and hardiest of the Empire's soldiers. Anyone that served here successfully throughout their entire tour became the embodiment of adaptability and strength, given the rigors of their scarce resources, constant threat, and struggles against the far off, or not far off in this case, tribeland warriors that came this way. It was fairly indomitable for many generations, but eventually it was put to the ultimate test when it fell under fairly savage assault from one of the largest hordes of barbarians that the Empire had ever seen. They had been mounted, many of them mounted on wyverns, and even a pair of very terrifying giants descended upon the rampart with a devastating ferocity that even the seasoned warriors of this place could not repel. And despite the brave resistance, eventually the rampart was sacked and brought to ruin, the walls no longer able to sufficiently sustain against assault. Its grandeur was more or less replaced with desolation and despair. And today, this once symbol of the Empire's unyielding resolve now seems to have fallen into the hands of the Reclaimed, the mercenary company, now turned rebellion. And it serves now, instead of its once icon of brave resistance, it now serves as a poignant reminder of the shifting history and challenges that the Empire faces. And as you descend down into these foothills and are able to look up and see the power of the mountainside, feel the chilling wind running through you, you can only imagine what this was like for Barrick when he was stationed here, in fact, or any number of the tribal warriors that assaulted this very place. And you begin to make your way up the exterior mountainside of this place, the cold biting at your ears and fingers. I need for all of you to please make a Constitution saving throw versus the conditions of the weather as this cold bites into you.
Reminds me of home.
That's an 18 for Barrick.
All right.
Dirty 20.
Nice. Akris?
18.
Very nice. Zorvir?
That's a 4.
Okay. And Develian?
I also got a 4.
Nice.
All right. So, the irony is not lost on me that the two
Right.
oldest members of the party find themselves chilled to the bone in this space. And until you find some way of warming yourselves or shedding off the cold, you are both at disadvantage on all ability checks at present.
So out of curiosity, if I'm resistant to cold, would I have advantage on that?
Given the fact that this is cold biting wind that is doing this, I will say yes.
Okay. More than a 4. More than a 4.
You need a 12.
And I got a 9.
Oh.
Okay.
It was more than a 4.
It was more than a 4. Unfortunately, not more enough. Certainly, Cassia and Barrick, given your powers of observation, I'm not sure Akris would even care if he noticed this. I'll let you decide that for yourself, Ian. But certainly Cassia and Barrick would recognize the very, very present shivering that Zorvir and Develian are doing. Develian in particular is probably like, as he's like moving, trying to clench and warm up his hands and such, which might be a gesture that you're not particularly used to seeing him do. And any amount of time observing the two of them, you'd be able to tell that they are starting to succumb a little bit to frostbittenness.
Wow, it's that cold. Nice.
Right? And I apologize. What condition do we have?
You don't have a condition, you just have disadvantage on ability checks at present.
Gotcha.
If you don't do something about this, it could turn into actual levels of exhaustion that will require a long rest to deal with. But in this particular case, all you need to do realistically is find some way of warming yourselves to fight it off. If it turns into like frostbite status, you're going to get a level of exhaustion.
I mean,
Nice.
all I can offer is a torch, but that would kind of blow our cover.
So I'm going to dig into the inner pocket of my coat and rifle around in there, and I'll pull out what looks like a flat stone. It's kind of a kind of quartzy looking, but it's like deep red. And I mutter some words over it, and it begins to warm up, and I just clutch to it and allow it to warm me.
Okay. And what is this that you've done?
This is the hot stone.
Oh yeah, more than sufficient. You pull that out, and you kind of hold it close to your chest and kind of let it warm your core a little bit, and that eventually radiates out to your extremities, and you can shake off this cold.
Zorvir, you should hug Develian real close. You can both.
You
be
act as
warm.
though he has not before.
I'm just saying, you're both cold.
I believe there's even painted evidence of us embracing somewhere in the capital.
Well, there certainly is a bust at my home that has such a scene. We've been friends for quite some time. There is not a lot that you could do that would embarrass me, or I would hope not, Zorvir, in the presence of us embracing one another in the cold dark of night.
I will open my
Develian,
trench coat and offer for you to climb inside with me.
Develian, I'm surprised that you're cold at all with all that hot air coming out of your head.
Well, you see, young friend, that is just a matter of perspective.
My perspective is that you're gonna get frostbitten.
Not wrong.
Not really.
Well, now we figured that out. How far are we away from where we need to go?
Yeah, so you're ascending and making your way up. It doesn't take a very long, maybe about 15 or 20 minutes of kind of hugging the sides of the mountain and occasionally having to step across some very slippery walkways, barely wide enough for your own feet to take you. A couple of times, I imagine Zorvir has to reflexively like flap his wings to kind of keep himself aright. In the space, given the bulk that he has on his back, making it a little bit harder to traverse such narrow walkways. But eventually,
it is also weird walking with Develian like in my trench coat.
Are you actually doing that? Or are you guys hugging it up?
I'm keeping us both warm, okay. So we'll just take our time and get up there when we get up there.
All right, sounds good to me.
Well, if it's going to slow the ascent of the party, I don't believe I will stay there for too long. But we can definitely, have a bit of an embrace for a moment.
Overly much. And certainly the warmth from his heatstone is extremely welcoming to you, Develian.
And we don't have an appointment. Don't worry. We're not going to be late or anything.
How do you know? And so eventually you do find yourselves at this section of the wall itself where there are some handholds present, and certainly Barrick sees it as probably in very good state, given the fact that despite the cold, this is still not the head of winter. Like, this is the time of year that this passageway becomes ascendable and descendable for people that in his time used it to escape the burdens of their station every now and then, to perhaps take a little bit of time away from their posts, as it were, secretively. And you reach this spot where the obvious climbing has to begin. You all begin to break out the ropes and the pitons and few things that you have to assist in your climbing. Does anyone have any equipment of their own or magic or anything that they wish to bring to the fore for this skill challenge that you are about to endeavor on?
Well, Develian would like to touch a small brooch that he has attached to his upper lapel. It looks like a half crescent moon, and as I touch it, there is a slight glow of a white, warming light, and then my body shimmers for a moment, and as I activate the amulet of Rhaleren, and I basically am blessed by the god of the elves from some distant alternate land, and I'm going to feel that power, and I'm going to be blessed for the next minute without having to concentrate on it.
All right. Just so you know, it would be the amulet of Haladril in Ysterra, not Korra.
That is fine too.
All right.
I'm going to cast guidance on myself.
Nice.
Good call.
I've got a climber's kit, so I've got the rope and the pitons, and I've got boot tips, gloves, and a harness.
All right.
So that helps, I guess.
Would you allow me to use my form of beast on my claws to give me some type of advantage doing this? Maybe not advantage per se, but I don't know.
So yes, but here's the thing. This is going to take a couple of minutes to climb up, right? And in order to maintain your rage, you're going to have to take damage. So over the course of those couple of minutes, I will say that you'll have to basically take 2d6 of damage over the course of that entire time in order to maintain your rage through and be able to gain advantage on your climbing from using your claws.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Yeah.
Would you like me to hit you every time you make a movement? Would that aid you in your processes here?
Oh no, the wind is so sharp, I can't see. And he begins to flail his arms in the direction of Develian. Please, I hope I don't hit anyone. Oh no.
That would be most saddening indeed.
So...
That's funny.
Just out of curiosity, looking at the ropes and thinking about the magic that I possess, would I think that casting enemy objects on the ropes could benefit us in a way that they would help us climb faster, so maybe it wouldn't take as long.
Sure. I would say that if you were to expend the power of an animate object spell, you could animate all of the ropes that would basically serve as like an extra person in the circumstance, giving all of you and all of your companions the help action.
Sure.
So advantage on their checks in making their way up. It won't help with
far
stealth,
are we talking?
but it'll help with the climbing.
How far up are we talking? You said it'll take a couple minutes.
Well, that's if you're doing it quietly. It's going to take like a minute or so to, approximately a minute to make your way up, and doing it quietly. If you don't want to do it quietly, it's only like, between 40 and 60 feet, depending upon the route that you end up taking.
I think if we can handle taking a bit of time to be quiet, that might be the best choice.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, Ian, you're not going to, if you're thinking of doing your rage thing, that's not going to give you any significant bonus over the plan that Jeremy has to animate objects. So if he's doing that, you probably don't want to have Acris punching his fists into the mountainside to make it easier to climb.
No, I was thinking of something else, like something quieter to do, but it only allows me 20 feet per turn. All right, cool.
Okay.
Magic rope.
So Jeremy, are you animating the ropes and pitons and such to
Absolutely.
leverage their way up? Excellent. So what does that look like for everybody as Zorvir sets about this magic?
So I think the ropes, rather than like the ends of them will like go and wrap around, so that should you fall, you won't fall far enough to hurt yourselves, and it'll like continue to like loop around you and shorten the rope as you go. But also like the hand holds it like grabs your hand as you're grabbing it and kind of helps pull you up.
That's so cool.
I love it.
Love it.
Works for me. So I need for all of you then to make athletics climbing checks with advantage, and also stealth checks, please. And just tell me the results of your athletics first.
So, Jeremy, since you're keeping score here, you and I get just a regular straight roll on that because of our disadvantage from the cold.
No,
Well,
we got rid of that because
you-
of the hot stone.
Yep, you used the hot stone, so you were able to shake off the biting cold for at least a little bit to make this doable.
That works
Is there
too.
such a thing as double advantage?
No, there
Stupid
is not.
question. Yeah, because I already have
Advantage
advantage,
does
on
not
those.
stack.
Damn. All right.
Well, I
Oh,
rolled
well, that's weird.
a 1 and a 3, so that's a total of 12 for my athletics check.
All right.
Since I am blessed, Develian got a dirty 20.
Nice.
Nice.
Zorvir?
15 for athletics,
Nice.
10 for stealth.
Yeah, we'll get to stealth in a sec. Actors, what'd you get for the athletics?
17 for athletics.
Nice.
Excellent. And Deb?
2 on the die, and then my guidance added 1, so I'm at 3.
You rolled your athletics with advantage, right?
Sure did. I got a 1. 1 and a 3, and I've got -1 to athletics.
Oh my god.
So, super cool.
Oh,
Yep.
All right. So
The
essentially
rope
what
stops,
this looks
looks
like
at me, and is
then-
like,
essentially what this looks like then for all of you is the person that was most used to this, Barrick, seems to suffer tremendously at the start, if actually guiding you all up this. Acris and Develian end up kind of moving to the lead, so to speak, and making their way up, whilst Zorvir follows behind and using his wings as well as the magically animated ropes helps assist Barrick and Cassia to continue your way up the climb. You all will successfully make it. However, Barrick and Cassia, or not Barrick, Cassia, because you rolled so low, you now have to roll disadvantage on your stealth check.
I have advantage on stealth, so I'll just straight roll.
Straight roll, yeah.
Great.
So stealth check.
It was easier
around,
when I
please.
was younger.
It has been a couple of decades since you did
It's
this.
been
So.
quite a while. I think I need to reassess. I rolled a 3 for my stealth check, so that is a total of 17.
What?
Expertise!
I was going to say, I was like, wait a minute. So much.
Yeah.
Damn.
Thank God. I am the knight.
Damn. All right, 17 for Barrick. What about Cassia?
15.
All right,
Nice.
Akris.
21.
Nice. Zorvir.
That is a 10.
All right, Develian.
Due to my advantage granted to me by the boots of elven kind and the fact that I am still blessed, I get a 23.
Very good. Yes, despite the random flapping of wings from Zorvir and the occasional deep and guttural groaning of, why can't I just fly? You all do manage to ascend the mountainside, making your way up towards the back of... Basically what happens is that you climb up the mountainside past the and above the rubble of wall that connects to the mountain itself from the rampart, and go over that section and come in behind in the northwestern corner of the grounds of this place. And for your just so you guys are aware of what things look like, you can go ahead and divert your attention here in a moment to the battle map. And you can see in this space that there is a covered shed that, I mean, all of the buildings are technically covered, but there is an obvious storage shed there. You hear some clanging and can see the heat of a forge from another building next to it. There appears to be a smaller building adjacent to that, and you see a couple of shields hanging from the walls of it, and Barrick would be able to point out that was the armory when he was stationed here, and it probably still is. The two-story building that is adjacent to that one appears to be a barracks of some kind. And then most notably to anyone that has any kind of religion about themselves, you can see a small chapel house that exists on the far end, along with a couple of outhouses, a very obvious stable, and then the giant pile of debris and cart and such that makes up one quadrant. You also see a handful of individuals kind of walking the walls and the grounds itself, and no one seems alerted to your presence just yet. What would you like to do?
Okay. Are we coming in to where the bandana guy is?
So
Over
you're
there.
coming in this
Okay.
north western corner behind the storage house.
Awesome.
Fireball?
Do we see the green? Do we see the green bandana guy?
Yes, absolutely. You see the individuals that are on the map pretty obviously.
Okay. Cool. I don't know, one by one?
Sounds good.
Taking them out one by one?
Are we going to fight these people?
No, we're gonna have tea.
Oh, I mean, that makes more sense. We're here to convince them to stop, right?
I don't.
Putting them 6 feet under the ground is a way to stop them.
It's a very permanent way to do it, yes.
I don't think
I
these
don't-
guys are up for talking.
No.
What if I just go and knock on the gate and see if they're interested in, having some tea and talking about this?
We can have that as a backup plan.
I like you too much to let you do that.
We can send Develian, though.
Okay, we just need to make sure
I
we
would-
give them.
I would definitely agree that I am the most charismatic and most diplomatic of the party, indeed.
You get
I
killed
should give that to him.
immediately.
Okay, for
Side note,
what it's
Kev,
worth, just so you
I
guys know,
love
you are
as a
literally
person.
30 feet away from one of these individuals, who, don't get me wrong, is looking pretty tired and bored out of his fucking mind, but you're only 30 feet away from him, so be careful about how much noise you're making here.
I say we at least sneak up and get one of them out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do it.
All right.
Okay.
Use your training, my son.
Just- all right. Control my breathing. Just a little wisp of air coming out of Akris's mouth. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is what I've been training for. Cool. And I would like to, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. I got 40 in the movement. I'd like to try to be as stealth as possible so I can just Batman this guy. Just full.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I need to do a check real quick here, but you had a very good stealth from before, so yeah, no problem at all. You're able to basically make it all the way over to here and start climbing your way up the steps and get within striking range of him before he seems to notice you. What are you doing?
I don't want to make any noise. You know what? I'm just gonna stab him with my Ilqua.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna hold it like, because I know it's like a two-handed type deal. I'm gonna hold it a little bit closer to the blade as if it was kind of like a dagger, and then just kind of right in between the rib cage. Bam.
All right. Give me an attack roll with advantage, please.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, cool. We'll take that. 12 on the die. So that's that. 19 to hit. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a dirty 20 to hit.
Yeah, easily hit.
Cool. Great. That's only 6 points of damage.
Check something here. Okay. Do you
Oh, that
have
went to
multiple
the screen.
attacks, or
I do.
okay. You can unleash another attack on him if you wish.
Yeah, I'm just gonna just kind of keep digging it in there for another one with the Ilqua. So that's going to be a 17 to hit.
Yep.
Beautiful.
You rolled that with advantage, right?
Oh, I did not. That one's worse. That would have been a 16. Okay, cool.
Yep, still hits.
And the oh, there's only 3? Hold on, wait a minute. 1d8 plus 3. I rolled a 7. What did that come out to? Oh yeah, 8. 9, 10, 11 points of damage.
All right. So tell us, please, how you dispatch this individual from these 2 violent strikes. And I'm assuming that
so
you're
good.
going to just let his body fall off the opposite side of the wall. Yes.
Yeah, is there like a long way down?
Yeah, it's like 15 feet.
If it's 15 feet, that'll still. I don't want to make a noise. So,
I mean, the closest
Isn't
people
it-
are a good 50 or 60 feet away. So
okay, yeah. So I come up behind him. I have my weapon in hand, and I scoot both of my hands a little bit closer to the blade. And Akris grabs him by the mask, and he digs his nails into him as he plunges the blade in for one, and then squeezes tighter on his mouth, and then slowly pushes it in for another one because he doesn't want to be loud. And then once the struggle finishes and his body goes limp, he kind of just rolls him off the side.
nice. So as this individual, which, just so you guys are aware, they're not actually wearing masks. This is just the the generic token for the mooks, so to speak. And all of you bear witness as Akris just very quickly, with violent precision, dispatches of this individual and sends their body cascading off the side of the walls. I need for you to make another stealth check, please, Akris.
Let's do it. Ooh, that would have been bad. Okay. What is that? Okay, cool. That is a 12. Better than the nat one I rolled.
What'd you get?
A 12.
Oh, okay. So, as you all watch this, you hear a cry of alarm ring out from the center of the camp as one of the individuals that was waiting over by the fire has looked over in this direction and yells out, "Hey, you there! What the fuck? Shit, we're under attack!" and raises the cry of alarm from the camp. I need for everyone to please roll initiative.
Ooh.
What? They heard me still?
Boo.
Let's go.
Okay, that actually makes sense. I got a 17.
I've
Nice.
only rolled 3s today. That's a 7.
Get him out. Get him out now.
Damn.
I also
Rebellion?
got a 7.
Wow. 19 for
Best.
Develian.
Okay. I'm assuming that
16.
Barrick has the better dexterity score between Cassia and
That's very
Oscar.
likely.
+4.
I
Yeah.
have +1.
Okay.
I'm going to up your initiative, Barrick, to 8 then, because it's not going to impact any
Yeah.
other thing, and it just makes it easier for me to keep track of.
Fantastic.
As the cry of alarm happens, you all hear the hammering in the forge stop. It wasn't very frequent. Whoever was working wasn't like, doing anything horrifically empowering, but it was enough that you now notice the lack of noise coming from it all now. And I need, that's going to be Develian. So Develian, you see these 4 individuals scattered around the edges of the fortifications that have all looked in your direction, and they are. Thank you for the raid from. The Dirty Rollers have made their way in. Thank you so much,
Hey.
Dirty Rollers RPG.
Welcome.
You guys are awesome. Very much appreciate. I found their channel today, by the way, guys. You should definitely
nice.
check out. They're doing some pretty awesome stuff over there. They've got some amazing production value on the things that they do, and it was a good time. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for making your way in, guys. Much appreciated. Back to the action, back to the combat. Develian, you see these individuals that have all raised alert to the presence of Akris. They have not apparently seen the rest of you yet. It is Akris that they are fixated upon. What would you like to do?
Well, that is certainly perfect for my purposes then. As soon as he let go of the body, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually draw that quartz feather pen out of my interior lapel. I snap it out and it elongates into the rapier made out of quartz. And as that happens, I channel a spell that's already stored within it. And I'm going to misty step 30 feet across the encampment here in towards the center where those guys are starting to notice what's going on. So I'm going to pretty much go by that second building that's
Yeah,
just
you're pretty
past
much
that
going
one.
to get out in front of the forge. And I'll
That's
say
fine.
because of your distinct high passive perception, you would note that
Mhm.
there is a half-orc woman standing
geez, there's
inside
more.
of the forge that sees you poof into existence and is alerted to your presence. Oh crap, we lost. Oh, there he is. Kev, are you back yet?
I haven't left. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, you were lagging out there.
Oh.
Yes, so you're alerted to the presence of this half-orc woman now. Does that change your plan at all as you complete your
Nope.
Misty Step? All right, what you doing, man?
Nope. As I materialize, I just see her, and as I stand there and I point the rapier, and I'm like, "You're all going to pay for what you've done around here." And that'll be the end of my turn because that's all my actions.
Oh,
You don't have an actual action? Because isn't it a bonus action to do the Misty Step?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a action to channel a spell out of the spell storing blade that I have.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. You still have movement left if you want to take that.
No, I'm good right there.
Okay, sounds good to me. That brings us to Acris. It is your turn, sir.
so I know they don't have bandanas, but just in the sense that everybody's running, Acris is just gonna kind of just straight up conjure an Eldritch Blast, and he's gonna aim it towards the purple bandana guy.
Okay. Let
and
loose some bolts, my man.
Yeah. So that is, oh my god, that's a 27 for the first one.
Yeah, that hits.
That's an 18 for the second one.
That also hits.
Oh my goodness. Yes, thank you. And that's a 23 for the third one.
All three of them hit.
Beautiful. So
just out of curiosity, what would your minimum damage be on 3 bolts?
minimum damage? So it's like, I don't know. What do you mean? Like if I just had...
If you rolled 1s on everything, what would your minimum damage be?
12.
Okay, so as you Gatling gun bolt this guy to death, what does that look? What do your eldritch bolts look like as they fly through the air and end this man's life?
You see Acris kind of puts his hands together, and it's definitely Dragon Ball Z-esque, and he pops it from behind his back. He's a little bit showy because he's feeling himself, and you see 3 luminescent purple like eldritch blasts just come shooting out of his hand. And normally it would be a full fist palm, but again, being that he's showy and he sees Develian right there, he kind of hits it with one of these, like he just quick draws it, and it's like it just comes right out and knocks this guy.
Yeah, so as these bolts slam into this man and send him flying backwards a few feet, crashing into the ground, obviously drawing his last breath, would you like to take a movement?
I would. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll use 30 feet of my movement to get next to Develian.
Yeah, you can easily just move your way over to Develian.
Cool. I'm gonna kind of move right in front of him to where I see the orc woman.
Sure, I'll allow that.
Okay, cool. And then I kind of look back and I go, do you want this one? Do you want me to take care of it? What are we doing? I've already gotten 2 today.
Any retort
Silent
from
type.
Develian?
Nice.
I didn't know I could free talk.
Yeah,
Not my turn,
yeah,
but yes,
come
I
on,
will.
man.
I will say, this one is mine.
All right then.
Beautiful.
Uh,
And then I'll
we'll see
focus
how
my
long
attention on
that
her.
lasts.
Because I have 2 attacks per action. Can I
No.
hold
So
my
you
second
did
one?
Eldritch Blast, which is an
Oh,
action,
it's 3.
right?
Got it.
And that gave you your 3 bolts. So that was your action to do
That was actually something I was going to ask. How do you want to do that? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good.
If you take
Vibing.
the attack action, you get to make multiple attacks with your weapons. Just
Beautiful.
FYI. Yeah. So, as you guys complete this, or as Acris completes this task of obliterating this man, you all hear some movement coming from and between these 2 buildings over here, and an individual steps out. He is wearing chain armor. He has a blade, multiple blades drawn, a long sword and a dagger. Unfortunately, as that is the entirety of his turn, he's not able to do anything in response. However, he does have a look of alarm and anger upon his face, and as he looks over at the dead body, he basically saw the dead body flying into the ground as he emerged from his chamber, and he looks over at Develian and Acris, and he just spits on the ground, and he curses the both of you. Well, you're going to fucking die today. And that will end his turn, bringing us to Zorvir.
I'm going to step up next to Cassia and say, Lady Cassia, please be safe. And I'll just like lightly tap her on the shoulder. She becomes invisible. Greaterly.
Excellent.
Ooh.
And
Nice.
then I'm going to fly.
Greaterly invisible. I love it.
It's a thing, right? I'm going to fly
It is now.
here.
Sounds
I'll
good.
be in the air, but as I fly over, I'm going to draw my rapier. I'm going to wing it at this fellow over here. The guy who came out and said something about dying. This is my dancing rapier, so I don't know how you want to keep
Does your
track of
dancing rapier get to take attack actions when you do not do an attack action yourself?
that. It does not. It has to wait till next turn.
Okay. So yeah, you have so the dancing rapier, as I understand it, stays basically in the same square as you.
No, I can have it move up to 30 feet.
Well, there you go.
So that's why I moved forward to put it so it's next to that fellow.
Sounds great. Let me find a good token here that I can use for your dancing rapier. I think I've got something that'll qualify.
Does it
Yeah,
actually
well-
dance?
We'll just use this.
Oh, my apologies. As a bonus action, I can have it fly up to that and attack.
Well, there you go.
So it will attack.
This rapier comes flying through the air, unleashed from the feathers of Zorvir, heading its way over to this individual, seemingly a little bit alarmed at you just flying in and then unleashing this floating blade. He's definitely a little concerned at the moment, but you do get an attack on him.
Well, it was going to be like a 25, but instead, the stupid electronic dice, I'm going to start using my awesome fan roll dice that I have here. I highly suggest
Fan
you
roll
head to fan
dice?
roll, right?
Yeah, baby. Fan roll dice.
12. I got a 12.
This is where you pull the sponsor ad
12
out.
is unfortunately going to miss. So as this blade comes flying through, he just kind of deflects it to the side. And particularly Develian, who is a skilled bladesman in his own right, he sees the man actually do a flourish and then attack the blade. It's not going to do any damage to do any significance to this magical blade, but because it missed him, he was able to then continue that flourish of deflection and actually put a strike upon the blade. He's a little
Showing
bit dismayed
off.
that it didn't do anything, but it is what it is. So then, yes, then that is the end of Zorvir's turn, yes?
Correct. Thanks.
Okay, so at the after your turn, another individual emerges from over here from the barracks, and he kind of steps this way. This individual is he's an older man. He is wearing very obviously religious accoutrement robes that are almost entirely black with tinges of red flame at their edges. And as he stands there, you can all hear a curse from him, and he then begins to cast a spell. Is there anything that anyone is going to
Counterspell.
do?
Oh,
That's
are you
why
doing
I'm
Again,
asking.
I used my bonus action already. Otherwise,
Well, you still have your reaction, which is what you use for a counterspell. So if you
Totally.
do want to, in fact, counterspell him, you can.
isn't that your bonus action though? Your reaction is
No,
it's a
in the
reaction.
bonus action spot.
It's
Separate.
a reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like
Yeah,
to
I'll
do
try
that?
it.
Okay.
Yep.
So what level spell slot are you using for that?
Let's see. What's overkill? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what he's. Do I know what he's casting?
Give me an Arcana check.
So much easier with a paper. Arcana plus 8. 22. No, I'm sorry, 21.
You know that he's casting Scorching Ray.
Scorching Ray. Cool. Since I can cast that, I know that's a 3rd level spell. Sorry, 2nd level spell. So I'm going to just do the counter spell at the regular 3rd level.
Okay. So, what does it look like for you as you unweave the magic of these fire bolts that are emerging from this guy's hands?
Yeah, as he starts to gesture and the firebolt starts to pour out, it's like this orangey red flame that begins to emerge and burn through the night. There's like a steam coming off of it, and I simply like look, and I still have the rapier in the one hand pointing at the half-orc woman. Without even moving, I just gesticulate with my other hand, an intricate series of like motions of pointing my fingers, curling my fingers, things like this, draw a quick circle. And as this is happening, you actually see motes of blue, like a turquoise blue, pulling out and snuffing out the fire as it burns in his hand, until eventually it's just like a smoke that dissipates and kind of wafts across him in the night breeze.
Nice. He seems shocked and amazed at this, and Cassia probably can't see too well, given the range and the buildings kind of obfuscating and whatnot, but anyone that has a proficiency in religion would be able to recognize in that moment he offers a very quick, almost silent prayer to someone.
The guy. The guy, not Devellian?
Correct. I'm assuming not Devellian.
No, not me, no.
I didn't know if it was part of your thing.
Oh, no.
Okay, and that is going to bring us to Oscar Barrick. Cassia, you are on deck.
Well, Barrick is going to sort of zip his way through. I'm going to use my bonus action to dash.
Ooh.
And that should get me to about... I can come like around there.
Does it change your action when you see the half-orc woman standing in the... like you're... because you could see that and potentially have enough movement left to engage with her if you wanted to.
I mean, is she just standing in there?
Oh, she's reaching for a giant-looking sword.
Oh, I thought she was just hanging out.
No.
Okay, yeah. No, I'll go in there then. That's more fun. All right, so I still use my bonus action to dash.
She has a great axe.
I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to
they all die the same.
make some attacks with my big old sword.
So you step around the corner, you lock eyes with this woman as she is reaching for the great axe, leaning on the table next to her.
I have my sword at the ready.
Smiling sneer as you close in to engage with her.
This, at his age and having sort of been removed from, a combat role, he feels slightly guilty that he feels like this rush when he ends up fighting, because he should maybe be over that, but he's not. So the first was a 25 to hit.
That is.
Yeah. All right. And for 8 points of damage.
Right.
And we'll do another one. So he'll go one, slice the next one sort of near her midsection for a 23 to hit.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's 12 points of damage. And after sort of slicing around the abdomen, he sort of brings it up again to try to come at her neck.
You get 3 attacks?
Yeah.
Fuck. All right.
19 to hit?
That hits too.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
And that's 13 points of damage as he just goes in and carves her up.
Yeah, you just go in and you carve her up. One thing that you notice, however, as you're putting these strikes upon her, she's not really trying to like most people when you engage with them, they try to like dodge and juke and like defend and whatnot. She basically like uses her arm as a shield and just takes the blow, cutting a huge gash in her arm and catching her across the chest as she kind of leans into the strike.
Respect.
You leveled some pretty severe strikes upon her that would have felled most men, and this half-orc woman just looks at you with violence in her eyes.
Beth, me as a player, loves her, so I will try to kill her, but I love her now.
Okay,
just so you know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I get it. Cassia, you are up.
I'm going to use my action to dash because I'm very far away from what's happening. And I'm going to land about there. And I am going to use my bonus action to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Okay.
And I want it to be...
And because your invisibility is the greater sort, it does not break.
Yes.
Stay invisible.
And I would like to place it by the religious guy.
So tell us what this looks like as you cast it.
It's like a most of Cassia's magic is this sort of shimmering gold, and so it's this like shimmering golden sword that has all of this script kind of all over the blade, and is just sort of there. That is 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Great. And not great for damage. 6 damage.
All right. So as you cut into this religious man, he locks eyes upon you, and there is a moment of recognition. Oh, actually, no, he doesn't, because it's invisible. You're invisible. He looks at this holy, wondrous blade that is emerged in the space in front of him. He recognizes the quality of what it is, and without seeing the individual that cast this upon him, he seems startled and in a bit of disarray from it. And is that it for your turn?
It is.
Nice. Okay, so it is now the half-orc woman's turn. So the half-orc woman picks up her great axe and lets out this ferocious screaming roar. And as she does so, you can see that the individuals that are in this vicinity that you're facing kind of respond to the roar as she lets it out, this scream, and they all seem energized from it. And she herself, in her rage, is going to unleash some attacks on you, Barrick. So the first is a 26 to hit. And
Yes, that
the
will hit.
second is a 19 to hit.
Yes.
All right.
No.
So the first is 17 points of damage,
Okay.
and the second is 21 points of damage as she
Okay.
unleashes these two vicious blows upon you.
All right.
Do you have
Ow.
any particular retort?
Nah. He's just, I mean, she took his punishment. He's taken hers. This is very exciting for him.
Nice. Okay.
Oh my, are you guys courting? No.
I love my wife.
All right, so now we are at the bandits' turns, so to speak. The other members of the Reclaimed. This fellow down here jumps off of the wall for a hot moment, like reaches down to make sure that his friend is actually dead, looks over at you, Acris, with venom in his eyes as he picks up the sword of his fallen comrade, pulls his own blade, and comes charging in at you. Unfortunately, he can't actually attack you because it took all of his movement and his action to actually
made a
get
mistake.
all the way over. Then this fellow here on the far end that is on the wall. He actually jumps up to here. The stable does not have a roof in this map, but it does have a roof that he can leap up onto, and he continues his climb over to here. He retrieves a crossbow at his side, and he takes a shot at Acris. That is going to be a 17 to hit.
It does hit, but I want to use my gloves of missile snaring to see if I could
Yeah. I mean, you've still got a reaction, so totally. You have to roll for how much how much it deflects, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's D10 plus my dex mod. So D10 plus 2? Yeah, D10 plus 2. Here we go.
Hey, Jeremy, somebody in chat is asking how. Yeah. How did Zorger become
Trying to think of a
master?
really good answer for that.
Okay. He'll get back to you, Dragon Cat.
So that's 11 points
Yes,
of
you-
whatever damage that I would
You
deflect.
easily catch this crossbow bolt in your hand.
Okay. I think. Right. So does that mean that whatever damage it was, it would go to 0?
Yes.
Free hand, reduce damage to 0. You can catch the missile, and if it's small enough for you, okay, cool, got it. So yeah, I just grab it. I'm just like,
You're holding the arrow now.
yeah, I think it is right towards his face. It's one of those and then Acris kind of goes, really.
Yeah. And then this fellow up here on the wall, he also is going to take a crossbow shot at Acris because that is the most convenient shot for him to take. However, he got a 9, so I am assuming that 9 is going to miss.
9 also misses.
Yeah.
And I hope it's one of those things where Acris goes, really? And then another one comes, he's like, come on, you guys. Come.
He uses the same glove, but he can't catch this one, so he just kind of bats it out of the way.
He waves it out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah. It lands at Develian's feet. There is another individual that emerges from the barracks and comes over here to stand next to the religious fellow. He takes a swing with his sword at Cassia's blade, which does not have hit points or armor or anything, right? Yeah. The holy manifestation of divine power that Cassia summons, his short sword attack just kind of washes right through it and does nothing. And I believe that is it for those guys because a couple of them are dead. So yeah, that brings us back to the top of the round. Develian, you are up.
Let's go.
Oh, goody. So, seeing that Barrick is engaged with battle with the enemy that I was going to plan on eliminating first, I'm going to do what the, of course, most logical thing is to do. I'm going to take my quartz rapier and draw a line, a quick slash across the ground in front of me. And as I do so, I enter the blade song, and I'm going to charge the man who is fighting the, I believe it is a dancing sword or something, the little icon of the crossed blades in front of him. I'm going to move up to that man and try to take him out.
No problem.
So as I enter the blade song, I blur straight past you, Acris. You see me in Roadrunner style. I just go right past you. And,
that increases your movement speed, right?
Yeah, it does by 10.
Just a shadow.
My phone won't let me move my figures and
that's all right.
keep
I moved it for you.
So, thank you. There's problems with Owlbear on my side, so sorry about that. But yeah, and then I'm going to attack him with my full attack action. So I'm going to get 2 attacks. Okay. The first one with the Mage Blade is going to be a 27.
Yeah, that hits.
All right. And the second one is going to be a 23.
Let me just double check something. Yes, that also hits.
Okay. And the Mage Blade does 1d8 plus 6. Ooh, max of 14 for the first attack.
Nice.
And when it hits with the second attack, it's going to be a 5 plus 6, 11 points of piercing damage. And as that one hits, it is going to release the booming blade that is within it. So there's a loud explosion, and they say he needs to make a save. Let me find out what that save is.
Please,
I believe it's a
tell me what the
Constitution
save
save.
is.
Yes, I believe it is. Oh, it doesn't say, does it? It just says extra damage, that's all? No save? I like that even better. My save DC is an 18, but it doesn't say what kind of save it is. It just says when you hit. Oh yeah. There's no save. So he takes thunder damage if he moves.
Oh, so he has to move to trigger it. He is now locked in place, essentially, unless if he moves, he is going to take additional damage from your...
Yeah, if he moves, he'll
blade.
take 3d8 thunder damage.
Right. Okay, so as this swirl of arcane energy kind of wraps around him, there's a howl of arcane energy that is kind of wafting across his body and kind of impairing his movements in the moment, and he is hesitant on whether or not he should move. Is that it for your turn, sir?
That's it, yep.
All right. So next we have... So emerging also from the barracks, because there's not enough people for you to fight, you see a dwarven woman kind of stepping out from the side, kind of moving into a little bit of open space. You can see that, actually, you know what? I have art for these people. Now enough of them have emerged that I can start displaying the art for these wonderful people that you are so viciously destroying at the moment.
Nice.
So as this dwarven woman kind of steps into the battlefield, you can see very clearly that she has some heavy regalia, but none of it actually looks like armor per se. It just looks like very, very heavy clothing. And she also is not carrying any weapons upon her. And as she stands there, she kind of looks around, and you see a certain calculation in the way that she is moving, and she begins to cast a spell. Anyone going to react?
Yes, I will.
She begins to do what?
Cast a spell.
Can I tell what spell she is casting?
Sorry.
Are you intending to dispel it or counterspell
I'm
it?
intending to counterspell her spell, yes.
All right, go ahead and roll a Arcana check, please.
18 on the die plus...
You can see that
I think
she
it's
is
8,
casting
20, 26.
magic missile.
Oh, please. Can I tell who she's casting it at with that same roll?
No,
Okay.
but you're already counterspelling it, so you just have to tell me
I'll
what level
counterspell.
you're...
Yeah, just a regular 3rd level,
Okay.
so it's gone too.
Yep. Yes. So as you unweave the arcane energy, you hear the older religious man kind of say, "Be careful! There's something that blocks magic," and she just curses under her breath. And she reaches, in that moment, she reaches into like the folds of some of the furs that she wears, and she seems to draw something in her hand and clench it in her fist, but you can't tell what it is. And that brings us to Acris.
So Acris is just more so of like, all right, let's just chip away what we have. So the guy that's right in front of him, he's gonna hit him with Eldritch Blast as well.
So if you do that, you are in melee with him. You will be at disadvantage on all of the strikes.
I'll be at disadvantage.
If you're trying to shoot somebody with a range, even a spell, a ranged attack in melee with that person, you will be at disadvantage.
Okay. Well, then instead of doing that you said with the range magic spell, yes?
Well, it's a spell that has an attack roll component, so
got it.
you could do a different spell that doesn't have an attack roll.
That wouldn't be fun at all, would it?
I mean,
Okay.
it'd be fun for me, I'm sure.
Yeah. So actually, no, this actually works with what I want to do. So I'm going to. Okay, cool.
Please tell me you're lightning bolting Develian.
Right, just right.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't see. There's so much wind. I can't see. Nah, you know what? We'll mix it up with this guy in front of me. So I'm going to rage.
Nice.
And with that, like I said, we're gonna go fisticuffs with this dude. I want to use my form of beast claw to swipe at him.
Yes.
Nice.
That is a 16. No, that is a 18 to hit.
18 absolutely hits.
Beautiful, and that's going to be. Let's see here, 7 points of damage.
All right, second attack.
Same thing. We're just going to dig in with the second claw as well, and that's going to be. It's like a 20 something. It's 14 on the die plus 7.
Yeah, that absolutely hits.
Beautiful. And then he's going to take, beautiful, max damage. So 8 points of damage.
So you rend this guy in multiple ways as his body collapses to the ground in a bloody heap. And your rage kind of takes over in your body, your feral claws.
I think if anybody
claws emerging.
Yeah, I think if anybody took a moment to look at Acris, you see that both of his claws have kind of elongated and they kind of have these black tips that are just dripping with the blood off the person that he just dispatched with. But then if you look at his face, his eyes glow a fiery purple, and being that it's so cold and his eyes are hot, you see just the steam coming off.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And with that, I still have my movement.
You still have your movement, yeah.
I'm going to. You know what? I'm going to use my max movement, which is 40, to get next to the dwarven woman.
All right, nice.
We'll just. Yeah. I'll move that.
I got it for you.
You got it. There it is.
So yeah, you go running over next to the dwarven woman. She has a bit of shock in her expression as this raging dragonborn just closes the gap with her, blood dripping off of his hands from the man that he just dispatched. And you hear as you get close,
I think he wants. Oh, go ahead.
You see her clench her fist.
I think Acris wants to take
tightly.
a quick moment.
And you see her clench her fist extremely tightly, and you hear this crunch of something from her fist, but nothing else happens.
I think with all of that happening, when he goes up to her, I think Acris, he goes, he's heavy breathing. He's, listen, it's getting all in now. Just calm down. I don't want to hurt you.
I don't want to hurt you, as you are raging.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's what's
face.
in Acris's head, but what we all hear is
Yeah, it's just foaming at the mouth. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Later,
It's
you're like,
definitely
I
a
gave her the
struggle.
option to give up. When did you give her?
You definitely see a struggle because, the shoulders are up. He's just heavy breathing. He's got these claws out. He's like, "Hey, you really don't have to do this." Just really.
Yeah.
His mind is saying, calm down.
Me.
Outside, he's like, I'll fucking kill you.
Right? It's just lost in translation somewhere.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. He didn't realize he was speaking in Draconic.
Right.
So, yes, that is Acris's turn. So now the captain of the guard, wielding his long sword and short sword, seemingly can't do anything against the dancing rapier. So he is going to attack Develian instead. You see him actually kind of breathe in sharply and seem to bolster his resolve a little bit as he does this. And then he unleashes a pair of attacks upon you, Develian. The first attack is a 21 to hit.
Mm-hmm. Because I don't have any reactions to use shield. Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. And so... Oh, actually, I forgot. He has advantage right now because of the frenzy orc woman giving it to him. But that's a less, so no crit or anything like that. And that is going to be 10 points of damage. And then with the other blade, that is a 23 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to be 9 points of damage. So as he slashes you twice with this, he seems like, in the moment, Develian, as you recognize a skilled swordsman that is used to moving around a battlefield, he seems to recognize the magic that is surrounding him, and he does not move. And you can tell that that is very bothersome to him, that he does not get to take his movement. And that is going to bring us to you, Zorvir.
Okay. Pulling his wings back, Zorvir lands here and reaches out and makes these grabbing motions at the fellow who's facing off against Develion and this orc woman that's in the room with Barrick. And then he makes a cutting, like a slashing motion across, and he says, "I take your eyes." And each of them needs to make a con save.
Okay.
17.
All
You
right,
can fail it
so
if you'd like. You could choose to fail it if you'd like.
I could, but I'm not going to. Sorry. Oop, that's the wrong thing. All right, so first I will roll for, because I have this person selected, I'll roll for the gentleman that is facing off against Develian. That is a 19.
Damn.
And then, where is she? The half-orc? Oh, yeah, she's really good at con saves. Oh.
I knew those two were going to be rough, but I had to try it.
I rolled low, but I still got a 17.
Yeah, that's what you needed.
Yeah.
Well,
Dang.
then
She
I'm
had
gonna
advantage, and she still rolled low.
I will then take back to the air and land on this building here.
Okay, you're on the roof of the armory at this point, then.
Right.
Okay.
And as the bonus action, the dancing rapier will take another swing at that fellow.
Alrighty.
Do. Critical!
Yeah. Natural
Fail.
20.
No,
No, it was a nat 20. I can see that. That's awesome. So, just as a
Amazing.
reminder, at natural 20s with me, you maximize the damage and then
Right.
roll the dice. So what would your normal damage be on this?
So it'd be 10 plus 6, so 16.
And then what's the total, or what's the die on it?
A d8
Okay, so it's a d8 plus what?
plus 2, so 10.
Gotcha. Oh, and you rolled a 6.
Right.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure.
Excellent. Yeah, so you cut into this gentleman. He is very much glad that he bolstered himself in his last action.
I'm not so glad about that, but I guess I'll let it slide this time.
Yeah, his injuries seem to be catching up to him a little bit here as you all are laying into him pretty thick.
Nice.
Is that it for you now, sir?
Yes, that is it.
Okay. That brings us to the good brother Amon, the priestly man. He is going to take a sidestep around the summoned blade, knowing that there is nothing that he can do about that. And he really can only, well, he can target Acris. So I think he's going to do that. As he steps forward, he moves over next to you, Acris, and you hear a prayer coming from him, and it is in an almost infernal-like language. And as he holds up both of his hands, seemingly with an invisible weapon to strike at you, and starts swinging, emerging from the nothingness between his hands, you see this black, long pole arm turned scythe with a flaming blade coming across to the end of it as he summons this blade from nothing and continues and strikes down upon Akris. And that is going to be a 21 to hit, which I do believe hits Akris.
Yep.
So some of this damage, thankfully, because he gets raging, is going to be reduced. So he takes, with the rage cutting it in half, he takes 5 points of slashing damage, and then he takes 8 points of fire damage. Oh, but he's a dragon. Oh wait, what kind of dragonborn is he? Is he resistant to fire?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not resistant to fire.
Okay, so 8 points of fire damage as this summoned flaming scythe just cuts into him. And then with a bonus action...
I'm gonna hurt him, though.
With a bonus action, he casts a spell upon the dwarven woman that seems to, like, radiate energy across her body and form a protective barrier around her, basically increasing her armor class. And then just...
I mean, I do have something for that, but I'm gonna let that one ride.
Oh, I'm sorry, did you have a counterspell? Well, you're raging, so
I
you
do, but
can't cast spells when you're raging. Yeah, so. And he is maintaining concentration now. Great. So that brings us to the last and final combatant joining the fray. Emerging from the barracks, you see a half-elven woman kind of step into the light. She assesses the situation. You can see that she has a longbow in her hand, and seemingly with the power of a magical ring, you see her run across the walkway here or the path here and leap up onto the edge of the stables over here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Leap up onto the stables and draws her longbow, and she takes a shot at Zorvir. She actually takes 2 shots at Zorvir. Sorry. So the first is only a 12, which I do believe misses even Zorvir.
That will miss.
The second is a dirty 20. Does that hit?
That will... Because I didn't take shield.
Okay. So as this arrow flies through the air, Zorvir can recognize a magical quality has been blessed from the bow onto the arrow shaft, as it seems to strike very unerringly and hit him in a soft spot at his hip, and he takes 14 points of damage.
Ooh. Okay.
And that brings us to Oscar Barrick.
So Barrick is he's feeling invigorated by this interaction that he's having. And so it will activate his fighting spirit. So that'll be my bonus action to activate that. It'll give me advantage on weapon attack rolls until the end of the current turn and give me 10 temporary hit points, which helps because she's ouchy. And then for my action, I'm going to attack 3 times.
Okay, go for it.
18 to hit? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, just real quick, as an important aside, because Cassia, you are still invisible.
Oh, right, concentration. Thank you for rolling that. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks.
Nice.
I will put a marker on you so that I remember, so that we all remember that you have that.
Thanks.
Yes, you did hit with your first attack.
Okay, so 8, or no, sorry. So that's 9 points of damage, do I also get sneak attack damage because I have advantage on attack rolls?
Yeah, if you had advantage on the attack roll, you do get sneak attack.
Okay, so 9 points up front and then an additional 10 points of sneak attack damage.
She is raging, so that does get reduced a bit.
That's okay. I've got 2 more.
Okay.
I will once again. I'm just like carving my way through. 19 to hit.
Okay. Yeah.
That's going to be 12 points of damage, plus more sneak attack because I have advantage until the end of this round. So that's another 8 points.
I think you can only apply sneak attack once.
Once?
On your turn. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So the 12 points then for that one.
Yeah.
Then the last one. Ooh, a 12 to hit?
12 misses.
Okay, that's fine.
Bear in mind, she's basically unarmored. And you basically send this strike across, and she kind of deflects it with her thigh.
Incredible.
The muscles just rippling across this woman. She like leans into the blade swing just enough to deflect it downwards and prevent you from actually bringing the edge into her flesh.
Incredible.
Is that it on your turn?
That's all.
All right. That brings us to Cassia. Oh, and for what it's worth, she is now effectively bloodied. She's pretty severely injured.
Okay.
All right, Cassie is grateful that she's still invisible. She's going to step up a little bit, and I'm going to cast Sacred Flame on the religious dude, which is a dex save of 18.
All right. This is only targeting him. It's not like an AoE thing, right?
Correct.
All right. And just so you know, Dex is absolutely his most amazing saving throw.
Yes.
That's a 9.
Okay. He's gonna take 20 points of radiant damage.
Nice.
Okay. He doesn't like that very much. He's very, very injured from that, and I need to make a concentration check for him. He got a 15. He does maintain his concentration.
All right, and then I'm going to use my bonus action to move the spiritual weapon and try to hit him with that as well.
It's almost like Cassia doesn't like this holy man.
You know,
See, it seems like Cassia has, not that any of you can see the expression on her face, but there might be a little bit of bloodthirstiness going on here.
Cassia?
where is
Competition, I'm thinking.
You know,
Oh no.
I don't know. 28 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
And another 6 force damage.
All right. Yeah, he has to make another concentration check. He got it. He got an 11, so he's still maintaining the concentration, helping out his dwarven friend.
Great. And then I think because there was some verbal components to that, I'm going to move just a little bit more to try and make sure people don't know where I am.
Okay. I need to make a roll here because you have now moved within the range.
Oh no.
You see, because Cassia is so ridiculously perceptive, she sees the woman carrying the longbow, her attention shift in Cassia's direction. And it alerts her that she thinks that this woman can see Cassia.
Okay.
All right. That is going to bring us to... Oh, it's the half-orc's turn. Yeah. She can't do the battle cry, but she can unleash more of her fury upon Barrick. So the first is a 14, which I think misses Barrick, right?
That will miss.
Yep. So, luckily for you guys, natural 20s from my bad guys don't actually do crits, but she got a natural 20 on
Fair.
Barrick. So she still hits like a fucking truck, so she still does 23 points of damage to him with the one strike. And as she does that, because natural 20s don't actually do critical damage, you can see that she seems bolstered by her strike, and she unleashes another one of those violent roars, seemingly thoroughly enjoying the battle, maybe more than Barrick is in this moment. And that cry, as it echoes throughout the encampment, seems to bolster her companions, and they're wanting to fight you all. And so then we've got the mooks are up. So this guy comes walking over. He is standing on top of the stables, and he moves over to join his bowyer friend, and he takes a shot at... yeah, I think he's just going to keep on attacking Akris. So crossbow bolt coming Akris's way. Oh, I should actually select them. Yeah, you don't want to roll me up. That's a 19 to hit. So I think that hits you, Akris. You are muted.
I'm going to use my reaction again to grab it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your d10.
Okay, let's do something. That's a 10. That's 8 on the die plus 2.
With magically enhanced deft alacrity, your hand just instinctively whoosh, goes up and catches the crossbow bolt, and like a half an inch. Bear in mind, this guy's like 12 feet away from Akris at this point, shooting from above with his crossbow, and Akris still manages to get his hand up in time and catch the bolt.
So
I think with that one being that he's raging, like as opposed to just catching it, he actually just snaps it in half. Like he's just like
totally.
I hate
this fellow
arrows.
comes running over to attack Develian. Because this is a melee strike and the bolstering from the half-orc, he has advantage to actually hit you, Develian. That is going to be a 14. I think misses.
Yeah, that'll miss.
Yeah. Just make sure this guy over here, he reloads his crossbow, seeing everyone engaged. Yeah, he leaps down off the wall. I need to make a acrobatics check real quick for that. Yeah, that's a 14. He's fine. He makes his way over to here. Still doesn't have a good shot on anybody. So he will use his action to actually move up to here. And that's going to bring us back to the top of the round. So, on the top of the round, down in this lower corner amongst the debris, you guys all see a statue in the lower corner of the map, amongst like all of the detritus and debris, of a giant bird that begins to seemingly move.
Oh shit.
I thought it was the cart that was going to get us.
Okay, quick question. Was that on the map the whole time?
The whole time.
I did not see it.
The whole time.
The whole time.
Was not paying attention to that.
And that brings us to Develian's turn.
Okay. Still within the thralls of the Blade Song, Develian is going to actually vault himself up over that guy who just ran up towards me and tried to stab me. As I land on the other side of him, I'm going to, as I land the blade, I stab it down to the ground for a second behind me, and then I'm going to put my fingers out towards the rest of the people, and in a 60-foot cone, positioned in such a way that it's going to have my friend Akris, friend being a quotated word here, my friend Akris not caught within it. I'm going to cast Prismatic Spray, my 7th level spell. So
Okay.
it's going to be
You won't
the
be able to hit.
concentrating.
You won't be able to hit the dwarf unless you move. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, I did move. Yeah,
Oh, where? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Where
I
did you want to
can't
move?
move my character. I'm on the other
Right.
side of the guy with the blue mask, where there's like a yellow lamp or something. It looks like
Oh, gotcha.
right there.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to target that concentrating. I'm assuming he's a cleric. The person right below him, and then the two people on the roof.
Okay.
Damn.
I will get an opportunity attack from you from the guy with this long sword and short sword, unless you have
don't go
something
out of
that
his threat
deflects
range.
that. What's that?
I don't go out of his threat range doing that, but
Well, you have to move
fine.
around the guy here that has a bandana. You can't move through
okay,
him.
that's fine. He has
So-
disadvantage because I have a cloak of displacement, so he can attack me if he wants.
Nice.
Oh well, shit, dude.
I've
why
actually
didn't
forgot
you-
about that. Every single fight, every single person
Oh,
who fights me has to have
no.
disadvantage. I keep forgetting. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that turned his natural 16 into a natural 1. So he
Hey.
misses you
Nice.
with his with that attack of opportunity.
Yeah, buddy.
And hits the other guy?
No.
With an at one. I mean, that's how I would do it. but
Impales himself on my rapier,
trips and falls and stabs himself in the jugular. Right.
right?
Now, I don't
All
impose nat 1 bullshittery on all of you, so I'm not going to impose it
Bullshittery.
on all of my
I love
guys
it.
either.
I
Fair.
love it. Okay. Yeah, you are right. I was thinking for some reason I can move through that guy's square. How silly of me. I was hoping with my description you did me have an acrobatics test to see if I could do that. But that's okay. That's okay.
No, it's okay.
We're through. So I cast Prismatic Spray. So it's going to be 8 multicolored rays of light. All the different stratus of the rainbow blast out of my fingers and rip through the night and slam out towards these individuals. So every single person that I pointed out has to make a dexterity saving throw of 18.
So, as was previously established, the spellcasters have amazing dexterity saving throws, just so you know.
That's okay.
That's
But it looks like a rave.
That's a 4 from the cleric fella.
Cool.
And that is a she rolled a 10 plus 0, the dwarven woman.
Okay.
And then let's see, you're gonna get both of the masked fellas. One of them got a 2 plus
Oh,
1 for
yeah.
a 3, and the other one got a 6 plus 1 for a
Let's
7.
go.
Devalian.
Come on, baby.
Let's
do it.
go. Let's do
And then
it. Get him out of
The
here.
Now, here's the thing, though. The woman with the long bow actually does have a really high dexterity. So,
Okay, that's fine.
and
That's fine.
she got a total of 21. So
Okay,
she
that's fine.
succeeds.
That's
tracks.
totally fine. So now for each of those who failed, which I'm seeing 4 people on my list here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, for each one of them, I need to roll a d8 to see which one of the rays, pardon me, of the prismatic spray they get hit with. So I'm going to start right here at the top with the cleric guy. I'm rolling a d8. 8. Special. The target is struck by 2 rays. Roll twice more, re-rolling any 8s that you get. Oh no!
Oh my
Let's
God.
go.
Oh no,
You guys
cleric boy! Oh no!
Let's go. Get him.
All right, first one.
Why do you guys
4,
hate the cleric
1,
so much? God.
green. He is going to take
We already have a
10d6
cleric.
poison damage.
10d6.
10d6
That's on the first
poison
ray.
damage.
He still has a second ray because he's rolling
Nasty.
twice.
1, 1, 5. Okay, so that's 11 on 4d6. So hang on, let me keep rolling here. Oh no, that's a 6 and a 6 is 12.
Okay, you can
So
stop
that's-
rolling. As
Okay.
whatever the other ray was that struck him goes
Yeah.
nothingness as his body
Okay.
just collapses into a pile of dead, covered in sick and poison from this spray. Continue killing the
Okay.
bad guys, please.
I
Who are
do
you
want to
rolling
roll
for
just out of
next?
curiosity's sake to see
Yeah, I'm
what color
curious.
went towards him before he died. That was a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Indigo. He becomes restrained and has to make a Constitution saving throw in each of his turns, or he gets permanently turned into stone. That's pretty sweet.
Messed
So, so
up.
the body,
dead body-
Way down.
his dead
Right,
body
partway
turns
down,
to
he's
stone.
Fuck yes. Okay.
Amazing.
as he is like vomiting his own blood. at this point.
My shoes!
From the vile poison.
Rebellion is just, he's like I said, he's just gesticulating with his fingers. His body is completely rigid. He's got a look of hatred on his face. It's really quite unlike the very jovial nature we've seen him thus far. All right, so the dwarf woman is going to take a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue. She takes 10d6 cold damage.
All right.
6 is 12, plus 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19, plus 2 is 21, plus 26, 29. 33 points of cold damage.
Okay.
And then the two masked people, the one's going to take 1, 2, 3, the yellow, which is going to be 10d6 lightning damage.
He's dead.
2, 3. Okay. And
Damn.
If you roll a damaging ray, I'm sorry.
Okay.
There, even if you like, you literally have to roll minimum +1 if it's 10d6 in order to kill these guys. So
nice.
I think you're fine.
Cool.
Roll for the
And
other
that
ray.
last mask guy. I'm sorry?
Roll for the last mask guy with the ray.
The last guy's going to take the orange ray, which is 10d6 acid damage. Yeah, there's just prismatic light that burns off of my body, and my hair is alight. There's like bands that were holding my hair up in intricate braids. They snap, and my hair flows free, and the quartz blade is just pulsating with energy behind me. Just there's all this energy is getting sucked up out of the ground almost, and redirected through my body out, slamming into these foes as they just drop.
And that last guy is looking at you and he goes, "It's beautiful!" And then he just fucking melts.
Yeah, and acid just washes over him.
That's it.
It's a shame that Barrick didn't see any of that, because I would have been impressed.
No, I think like being that Akers was so close to it, he turns and he goes, "Damn!" Like, it's just like that's he's like his hands up, super clawed out in rage. He's just like,
yeah, and then I pull the blade back up, and I'm turned to face those two guys who are in base combat with me.
Damn.
they don't run away from that. They don't see that and go, "Nah, fuck this."
Morale check. No.
Well, it's not their turn, so they can't do shit. It is, however, the Dwarven Woman's turn, and the Dwarven Woman, seeing this display from you, Develian, she is genuinely scared. Most of you have a good enough passive insight to recognize this. And in that moment, she unleashes her hand, and you see whatever she crushed in her hand includes small bits of stone and feather as it drops to Akris's feet. And as she holds up her hand, you can see there is blood in the center of her hand. And I'll just point out to you now, Kevin, you did an amazing thing doing more than half her hit points worth of damage, because it could have been much worse for you guys in this moment. As she completes whatever the object was in her hand that she was channeling, completes, and you hear this roaring coming from the statue, and then emerging from it, kind of tearing itself out from the statue itself, an extremely large bird. And when I say extremely large, I mean extremely large bird.
Yeah, that's the scale. Oh shit!
Yeah,
a dragon-sized bird.
If you exclude its wingspan, its body space encompasses 20 foot square. Its
T-Rex?
wingspan is even larger than that. Oh, actually, I've got some art here I can show too for a moment. So,
Golly.
as this enormous white bird seems to magically emerge from the stone, you can still see a few bits of stone like making up its flesh, kind of in between some of the feathers that you see, and it lets out this horrendous roar. And as it lets out that roar, the Dwarven Woman collapses to the ground, and she appears to be dying. Do I have...
Bummer.
So we will see what happens and whether or not she does fully die. And Jeremy, Zorvir recognizes this bird. Not this bird uniquely.
Counselor Steven?
But recognizes what this bird is.
Oh, okay.
This is a Fenthris rock.
Okay.
This is a notorious bird of prey from the lands in which his people originated from. Well,
the notorious BOP. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a bop.
Yes.
It's a
and I need for Zorvir to make a wisdom saving throw against fear, please.
Sure. I am immune to being frightened.
Oh, well then never mind.
Nice.
It's all that legendary knowledge that lives in my head.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Folks
Are
at
you
home, we
frightened
are
of
high
Rex?
level.
Yeah.
Are you frightened though, Jeremy?
Am I frightened? I'm a little worried, especially since I'm up on this roof all by myself.
Right for the picking.
Right?
All right.
Oh, man.
Let's see here. And then, oh, I get to actually, let me just double check here. I get to make a check, see if it can see Cassia. It cannot. It cannot see Cassia. It does, however, get to take a turn right now. Normally, it will act before Develian. However, because its summon just finishes, it can take an immediate action. And Develian already took his anyway. So it flies over this away, basically landing. All right, I'm just gonna move this guy. Landing here. It is so large, it doesn't even have to really stretch to take bite attacks, multiple bite attacks at Zorvir. So the first attack is a 32 to hit.
Jesus. Oh.
Just misses.
Oh, I'm sorry. It only gets to actually take one bite attack. The other is with it.
I
the
feel
other
somewhat
is
fortunate about that.
with its talon. That is 20 points of damage.
Okay.
I actually rolled really low. Wow. Holy crap! I rolled so
okay.
low.
Sounds terrible for you. Terrible.
Yeah, but it's Zorvir, though. Be nice.
Right?
And that is a 29 to hit.
Is that on Zorvir?
Yeah, with its talon. It does that. It grabs onto the edge of the building, crushing part of the building, and then swipes with the other talon. Holy fuck! I'm like rolling. So that's another 21 points of damage.
Cassia, I hate to tell you, but you are suddenly not greatly invisible.
Just regular now.
Right?
Cool.
Hey, cool.
You couldn't take those hits?
I mean, I took them, but my concentration was, I was thinking about something else.
Like,
Nice.
ouch.
Right.
Or not
Fair
dying.
Fair
God,
enough.
not in the face, not in the face.
The dwarven woman does not get to do anything. So that brings us to Akris.
Let's go!
All right, so
Oh, actually, I need to make a roll for her. You can keep going, sorry.
got it. Would it be an action to do an Arcana check?
In this instance, if you're trying to discern what this creature is, no.
I guess it's more.
Tell me what you're trying to do. I'll help you.
I'm
figure
trying
it
to
out.
see. I'm trying to see if this creature is only held here by magical reasons, or if it's like, oh, they're here
Ooh.
now, and that's it.
Good call. Roll an Arcana check, please.
Okay. 8.
I'm sorry, what was your total?
18.
18. I will say that Akris is able to ascertain that it is magic, but it's not like a summoning magic. It's more of a transmutation.
Got it.
But it's also important to note. It's also important to note that this woman apparently sacrificed part of her life force to do it, which is dangerous magic that is often banned in pretty much every institution of magical learning ever.
Okay. I would like to use my action to drop my rage.
I think it's a free action, isn't it?
It's a free action to drop your rage?
I think so, because
Okay.
you just... Yeah. I say it's a free
snap.
action, so fuck it.
So I drop my rage, and then I would like to cast Dispel Magic.
Ooh. Okay.
Nice.
As you turn and face this creature, so what level spell slot are you using, first of all? Because I do dispelling and counterspelling differently as part of my house rules. So I need to know what level of spell slot you're using.
4th.
Okay. And what is your... This is a charisma modifier, because that's your spell casting ability. So what is your charisma modifier?
It's a +2. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to do a charisma ability check, and you get to add 4 on top. So it's total of +6 to whatever you roll.
Okay. So +6 on top of whatever I roll.
Mm-hmm. Because you're adding 4
Okay.
from your spell slot and 2 from your ability score.
All right, let's do it. I don't know if that's good or not. Oh, but you said +6. 17.
17 was exactly the DC
Let's go, boy!
that you needed to beat.
Shit.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
So
Bye-bye, birdie?
Right?
I am sweating.
I know, right?
please,
Now it
please,
transmutes back into a Tyrannosaurus.
Ian, please tell me what this looks like as you undo the blood magic that brought this statue to life, as it,
Yes.
in its roaring and attacking state, going after Zorvir, turns back into a statue, still in that state.
Akris's rage subsides and his eyes go back to normal, his claws go down, and he sees the woman there and her sacrifice, and he turns around and he looks at the bird, and he slams both of his hands into the snow, and you can see that the area that he put his hands start to melt as like iridescent purple magic sparks from the bottom, and just in an instant, and it's like one of those anime shing, the magic goes directly towards the rock, and you see that it does what it does.
Nice.
Awesome.
So as this magic just ripples up across this thing's body, it doesn't even know what's happening, right? It doesn't have consciousness in the same way that a normal one of these beings, giant creatures, would have. And as the magic like ripples up its body, the fragments of it turning to stone once again, stone just kind of rippling across its feathers, fragments of, rock and stone kind of fall away from it, pelting everyone in the area, not doing damage, but just like flying away from it. And as it has its open maw as if it's about ready to, attack Zorvir once again as it turns to stone. Feet away from Zorvir's body.
And you hear a pretty audible.
Yeah. And I think everybody sees it too. Like Akris is like on his knees and he's like heavy breathing. Like took a lot out of him to do it, and he's just like. I don't want to do that again.
So from the from the captain's mount spot, you hear just this fuck, and he just turns to Develian, and he says, "Fine, I don't care anymore," and he just unleashes his attacks upon Develian.
Oh, I thought he was gonna quit.
Right?
We see.
I mean,
whatever.
Oh no, now he's gonna fight with abandon. All right.
Right. Yeah, before it was just for fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have advantage on his attack rolls, right? Oh, but he has disadvantage because of the cloak, right? So it's a straight roll. So the first attack is a 12, which I think misses.
No, not gonna do it.
The second attack, even with the disadvantage, however, is a 19.
19 would hit me, but I'm using my reaction to do shield, which is going to make it miss.
All right. You summon a magical arcane shield that deflects his blade away. And Zorvir, how you feeling there, bud?
I feel a little woozy. Got some blood loss. Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I sway on my feet a bit, and my wings kind of flap to balance me out. And I say, "Young Sir Acris, your deeds here will live on in the story of your not ancestors, descendants. You gonna give you bardic inspiration?
Nice.
Because I can see."
He's still on the ground. He's like, "Thank you, I feel great."
Just to clarify, if you happen to go to 0 hit points, you can use that bardic inspiration to go to 1 hit point instead.
Okay.
On top of the normal bardic inspiration stuff.
I think other than Cassia, he might be the least likely to go to 0 at this moment.
I'm okay.
Okay, there's still a whole orc woman in there that we haven't even assessed.
Barrick
Guys,
is still
it's fine.
injured, though.
It's fine.
So, I have an important question.
Mm-hmm.
This southern area on the map
Mhm.
looks awfully cliff-like. Is that
Mhm.
true? How steep is that cliff?
In parts, it's like, you know, many like 100+ feet down, but everything on the outside of the wall is probably only like 15 feet down. Whoops.
Everybody's moving.
All right, I weakly jump and flap to get up on top of that building,
Oh.
and I look at that lady who has the bow, and I begin to flap my wings as hard as I can,
Mm-hmm.
and I bring my hands up and make some gestures with it, and my wings begin to push the air faster and harder. She needs to make a strength saving throw.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah.
Just so you know, she has an amazing strength saving throw.
I had a feeling, because she was so good with that bow, that she'd be
Yeah.
really strong.
Yeah, that's
Great with strength.
5.
A 5. Okay, she's
Yeah,
gonna get
that
pushed
succeeds,
15
right?
feet. Let's see.
If it meets, it meets.
She would end up. Can I ping? I can't ping.
She gets
She's
pushed
gonna-
15 feet back.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's back here at the center.
Yeah. And the gust of wind is 10 feet wide, 60 feet long.
Okay, so this dead body goes flying.
Yay! I did something.
Oh, that's amazing.
Let me double check if there's anything
Yeah, so this dead
else.
body goes flying.
This will go up for a minute until I lose concentration or give up concentration.
Oh, so
To
this
move
is still
forward.
affecting her.
What's that?
This is still
Yes.
affecting her?
Yeah,
Oh.
for the next minute. If she moves toward me, she has to use 2 feet for every foot that she moves.
Does she have to make another check at the beginning of her turn or something?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
No?
No, it would be on my turn.
Oh, okay. All right. So she's basically like pinned, or can she still try to move to the sides?
No, she goes side to side.
All right. Cool. Love that.
And I would say she could move away from me at double speed if she wants to.
Okay.
Just
fair
crap
enough.
It's not
walks across the
explicit in the
field.
spell, but
We'll see what happens on her turn. Okay, that guy is dead. Oh, it is her turn. All right. She is actually probably, of the people that are still alive, the most sensible amongst this crowd. Yeah. Let me make a acrobatics check for her. Okay. She uses the gust of wind to her advantage, and she leaps into the air and takes it as it blows her over the edge of the cliffside, and she vanishes from your sight.
okay.
And Zorvir,
That's
because
annoying.
Zorvir is the only one that can. I mean, Cassia could probably see this too, so maybe it's just Zorvir and Cassia that see this. She purposefully did that, and it seemed a very controlled action on her part as she used this magical wind to escape the battlefield.
There was definitely that moment where, like, over here does the bird thing where he's like,
Nice. Ask her, Mr. Barrick.
So Barrick is fighting this half-orc woman
Mm-hmm.
facing into this building, and in this past round he's seen like a light show sort of like come in from behind him. He's heard like the rumbling and creaking of stone and a like vicious roar of some enormous creature, and then more stone and crumbling.
Oh, he also felt the weight of the bird landing literally right next to him.
Yeah, so he doesn't care. He's busy.
Okay.
So, as a bonus action, knowing that there's a lot of crazy shit going on behind him, but being confident about it, I'm going to use my bonus action again to activate my fighting spirit. So that's 10 more temporary hit points. Thank goodness. And I will start attacking.
Okay.
Oh, I have advantage on these attacks. I forgot. Well, that's great, because that's a natural 20 for a total of 31.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Slice.
So, okay. So it's
What
two...
would your normal damage be?
if I just rolled it?
Yeah, if you just what are the dice
Normal
that end up
max
on
damage. Yeah.
bonuses?
2d10 plus 6.
So 26.
Yeah.
And sneak attack, which is how many?
Plus your
D6?
right.
Sneak attack is 2d6.
So 12.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so 26 plus 12, so that's 38, plus 2d10 plus 2d6. And what was the ability that you used, that you activated to get the temporary hit points and your advantage?
It's fighting spirit. So I'm just accessing this this will within myself. So it's the damage that you mentioned plus 8, and then plus another 11 for the sneak attack.
So she
Damage.
55?
So she takes this brutal hit, which you feel like would have cut down anyone.
Yes.
Takes it entirely and starts to fall, collapses down to one knee, and then looks up at Barrick with rage in her eyes and just staggers herself back up to her feet and hefts her great axe, looking very wobbly on her feet.
Half orcs,
But-
baby.
She's awesome. Well, I'll make my second attack.
Double nat 20. Let's do it.
Okay, wait, I've got advantage. I forgot about that. No, it's a 19 to hit for that one.
So how do you want to do this?
Yes.
Because she has one hit point, because like
Oh,
you took
no.
her down before,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
that
relentless endurance.
brings her back up to one.
Yep.
So he's hearing all of this. It does sort of bolster his spirits with this, but also he's concerned about what's happening to the rest of them. So he really just sort of leans into to this first attack, cutting through. He sees her just almost done, but there's so much rage. There's no conversation that's going to be had here. He had considered it very briefly, and then just cuts through one more before he turns around and he's going to walk out.
He has to squeeze underneath and partially crawl past the statue of the bird.
Yeah. Would I be able to, like, with exiting, would I be able to see the guys by Develian?
Sure.
Okay, could I get there, or is that still?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll just come right up there then, and that will end my turn.
Nice. Cassia.
Let's go.
Great. Being no longer invisible, I think Cassie is gonna take the dodge action, because it seems like everyone is kind of doing okay, because I want to cast Healing Word at 4th level for Zorvir, because I know that he took a lot of damage from the birds.
Sounds good.
All right, where was that?
All right, I'll let you figure out those dice. Are you doing anything else on your turn?
No. That's 19 points of healing.
Nice healing word.
So in the interest of time, this is the end of the round. I'm going to say that you are able to dispatch these individuals. Develian and Barrick, I need for both of you to please roll a d20.
Oh,
just roll a straight d20.
Blast that mask guy.
Oh, man.
Just straight? 18.
13.
Okay, so Barrick is going to defeat the masked fellow. Bear in mind that realistically they're not actually wearing masks. And
right.
Develian is going to defeat the two-bladed swordsman. And I would like for each of you to tell me how that happens.
Go ahead, Beth.
It's like these two men that have really nothing in common, or so they thought, sort of despised each other, working in concert to just annihilate these guys. So Barrick would use his sneak attack ability, I guess, to just slice through and get rid of, this fly gnat that's, bothering him. So it would be pretty quick and easy for that guy.
Yeah. And Develian?
So Develian, after everything else has been defeated, he looks at this leader type guy, and the two of them square off against one another. And they can tell by the way that they've already interchanged with each other that these are two skilled bladesmen, two men who are used to dealing with mobility and strategy and dealing in that way. So the battle that they have, actually, Develian is quite surprised to discover, every once in a while, Develian is over 210 years old, but every once in a while, a person younger than him who is not of the Elven blade singers surprises him and lets him know that they are skilled with the blade as well. So he actually finds an equal in this man today, and the two of them battle, and it is extravagant. It's almost like two people in a choreographed dance going at it, into eventually the pure will and the strength of Develian's blade and the flourish that he has is eventually able to overcome the man and slay him.
Okay. As you all finish the defeating the reclaimed, there, for some of you, I imagine, is a sense of gratitude that it is over. Some of you, probably given how little combat you have actually seen or bloodshed you have seen in your lives, might have different feelings on the matter. And for some of you, this is like it's almost old hat in, you know, the field of battle and battling people to the death, when it very much seemed like your lives were also on the line here. But regardless of how each of you feel, you do take a few moments and come back into the present and understand that you have a task before you. Whatever the reclaimed are, whatever the rebellion is, you have defeated these individuals, but that might not be enough. You need to understand their source. You need to have... Oh, thank you, Live from the Apocalypse, for the raid. Welcome, raiders.
Hey.
Yes.
I hope you guys had fun over there with those wonderful people. We love Will and all the folks over there from the Apocalypse. We just finished a massive battle that took a really long time, in fact, that involved giant birds and things turning to stone and a great deal of catching of arrows and bloodshed.
Yep.
But our group was successful in actually defeating their foe and are now setting about to investigating the circumstances around the reclaimed and the rebellion. So who among you is actually, or I should ask this, would any of you not actually take part in investigating this place and the people that obviously lived here?
Oh, I definitely want to investigate and see what I can find here for sure.
Okay.
These people have been a thorn on our side. Well, I should say a thorn on my side for a while, so I want to definitely see what they know.
Okay. And Ian, is Acaris in any particular state that he would not also participate? Or, because I know you have special things associated to Acaris and the fighting and all that.
Yeah, he's participating, but it's probably not as like deep as in like what Develion's probably going to do. I guess it's just more so of like a scouting type deal. He's still coming down from everything.
Okay. So as you all set about, I think if you'll allow me a moment of narration here, Barrick kind of takes Acaris, recognizing someone in his state, given the familial relationship that the two of you have, and you pretty much just set him about to following you, Barrick, and seeing about your tasks. And so as you all begin to investigate all of the people, you can tell pretty clearly, first of all, quite a number of things. Barrick, in investigating the barracks, you find a particular office that probably belonged to the leader of the group, the captain fella, and there are fairly obvious objects that make you believe that they were monitoring both military and mercantile activity. There are maps. Some of them are a little bit outdated with the information on them, containing like a military map of Intresca, outlining movements of the Aegis Battalion, trade routes coming in and out of Ysterra, stretching all the way across the entire regions. But the notations are a bit dated, like maybe not more than a year ago. Or I'm sorry, not less than a year ago. And there's also a trade route map that just has a sprawling spider web of lines coming basically through every major trade hub, Ysterra, Jarentown, all of them. And this one is a bit newer, like, you know, maybe only a few months old with some of the information on that. And then a final map that I think Barrick is most notably concerned by, in that it is one of Jarentown and the region specifically around Jarentown, and it notates not only different caravans, but also placements of the Aegis battalions very, very accurately and very recently as well. And he can draw some pretty distinct conclusions that this was very obviously, they were scaling potentially to launch some kind of an attack, probably blowing up a building or, you know, some other, you know, nefarious type of thing. But they were planning an attack on Jarentown, very obviously. Jeremy, as Zorvir is kind of looking, around this place, doing his own investigations and whatnot, he discovers many, many, many ledgers of seemingly trade goods that detail coming and goings from different cities. Some of them are crossed off in black, some of them are circled in red, of gold, supplies, food, all kinds of things that apparently it strikes him as these are things that the Reclaimed claimed for themselves. Not all of it per se, but there's definitely a ledger of things that they successfully managed to steal and thieve. And as he's looking around, he finds in the stockpile of the storage space an immense amount of grain, dried fruits and meats, root vegetables, jars of pickled food, enough to feed hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 people for probably a month, kind of scattered amongst all of the various storage spaces. Virtually all of the upper floor of the barracks is just filled with food. And for him, that kind of resonates, considering he was told by the very people that had attacked him not a week past that the Reclaimed had, told them they needed to attack you all for food. And that probably means something a little bit more to Zorvir as he finds this. Develian. Well, actually, no. We'll get back to Develian. Cassia seemingly focuses first and foremost upon the small religious house that exists here on the place, and inside she finds a very pristine looking space. However, there is a noted darkness about the space, almost as if purposeful, magically imbued, where the candelabras and the sconces on the walls, the light that they give off is almost forced to virtually nothing, that it gives just a modicum of light. The darkness seems to be the most important part of this place, and she immediately recognizes that she is in a holy house of Sombrius, the ascendant of fire and darkness. And she, of course, has her own meanings on, what a holy establishment like that looks like. But as she starts looking through the belongings of Brother Aemon, she finds some sermons, some things that are very notably disturbing to her. And if you don't mind, the documents that I have sent you, we will kind of storyline a little bit. You're going to get to do some things here in a second. I will explain some things for you, Develian, here in a second. But as you all kind of come together to share this information that you have all found, thank you, Guild Superior Bleak, for the raid. Welcome. Yeah. We're about to get a sermon. Someone else's sermon. Not ones written by Cassia, our blessed historian. Please, Deb, tell us what these sermons are like.
Yes. So she pulls these kind of two pieces of paper out of the this little holy house and starts to read them. Brothers and sisters of the Reclaimed, I stand before you today with a fire in my heart, a fire stoked by our shared sufferings, our shared dreams, and by the flickering flame of hope that illuminates our collective darkness. Look around you, my brethren. We were cast aside, forgotten, deemed unworthy by an empire that drowns in its own decadence while its people starve. We have been discarded, yet we have found strength in our unity, in our shared defiance. We have found purpose in the shadows as the embodiment of Sombrius, the night flame. Sombrius, my friends, is not just a beacon in the dark. He is the purifier, the catalyst for change. He is the fire that consumes corruption, greed, and oppression, burning away the dross to reveal the gleaming truth beneath. He urges us to stoke the flame within the darkness of the world, to challenge the shadows, to incinerate the rotten heart of the empire, and let a new order rise from the ashes. Today I bring before you a new path, a path illuminated by the fire of righteousness, a path charted by those who, like us, yearn for change, for justice. These people are the rebellion. They are a flicker of hope in a sea of despair, a rallying cry in the silence of subjugation. They seek to bring the Empire's sins into the light, expose its corruption, and ignite a revolution that will change the course of our world. Brothers and sisters, the rebellion's cause is our cause. Their fight for justice, for freedom from the iron grip of the Empire is our fight. It is a noble battle, one that echoes the teachings of Sombrius. It is a battle that will bring forth a new dawn, a dawn where we are no longer the forgotten, but the saviors. We are the reclaimed. We have endured the darkness. Now let us embrace the fire. Let us join with the rebellion, not as mere allies, but as champions of their cause. Let us carry the flame of Sombrius into the heart of the Empire. Let us be the catalyst for a new era of truth. In the name of Sombrius, the night flame, let the sins of the Empire be revealed, and let them be consumed. As the fire of righteousness burns, so too shall the dawn of a new age begin. We are the reclaimed, and we shall reclaim the world. There's a second one that seems to be from a slightly later date. Brothers and sisters gathered near and lend me your ears. I stand before you once more, not with a heart ablaze with hope, but heavy with disappointment. In our hearts, we embraced the rebellion, saw in them a reflection of our own righteous cause, a promise of justice, of a world freed from the choking grasp of a corrupt empire. Yet now I see that hope flicker and falter. They call themselves the rebellion, but where is their rebellious spirit? Where is the steadfast determination that ignites change, the unbending will that shatters chains? I have looked into their hearts, and my friends, I fear that I have seen them wanting. Their leaders, they speak pretty words, they paint a vivid image of a better world, but they lack the strength of will to forge it. They are like the embers of a dying fire, glowing brightly but devoid of the heat needed to burn away the rot. They are but shadows, and without a true flame. Brothers and sisters, Sombrius calls upon us, his humble servants. He calls upon us to be more than the discarded and forgotten, more than mere instruments of another's cause. He calls upon us to become the flame, to become the change we wish to see in the world. The rebellion may falter, may lose sight of their noble cause, but we, the reclaimed, we are made of sterner stuff. We are the flame in the darkness. We do not shy away from the shadows, but confront them, challenge them, consume them. We may have once thought to be part of this rebellion, to lend our strength to their cause, but now it is clear that it falls upon us to lead the way, to show them what it truly means to rebel, to fight, to burn with righteous fury. We are the reclaimed, and we shall not merely join the rebellion, we shall ignite it. Brothers and sisters, the rebellion's leaders may be without strength, but we have strength enough for all. It is we who must take up the mantle. It is we who must carry Sombrius's flame into the heart of the Empire. Let them follow in our wake. Let them learn what it means to truly stand against the dark.
And then,
Wow.
Develian, in your searches, you find a couple of things of distinct note. The first is the body of a man, seemingly recently deceased, probably not more than a few days old, still chained to a chair, seemingly having been beaten or starved or whatnot, now dead. A man that you recognize, someone who used to, at one time, be a member of the Aegis battalions many, many decades ago. A man named Elendis Thalion. He served the battalions, was a powerful man recognized for strategic prowess and empathic leadership. Very, very well respected. Revered, in fact, by many of his peers and subordinates. A leader that, when he retired, was one of the most prominent retirements that Develian can ever remember, because he retired before he was due. He could have served much longer than he did, and he decided to retire. As Develian brings the attention of this man, Beric also recognizes Alendis, and Beric has his own history with the man, in that he knew that Alendis was seemingly lost. He had become disheartened by the state of the battalions and moved on, not because of anything that the Aegis battalions did to him, but rather he didn't feel like he could serve anymore, and decided to try to find another way. And Beric lost touch with him several years ago. And now he sits in this place, a once military stronghold, dead for unknown reasons. And the two of you have to ponder what that might mean. But Develian, you also discover a chest of gold with maybe 1,000 or so gold pieces in it. And not too far away from that chest, a letter, a handwriting that Develian recognizes. And if Develian could share that letter.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I will orate it to the group so they are aware of what its contents are. And I quote, Captain Talric, word has reached my ears of a significant development I find concerning. A caravan of individuals of considerable import is departing Tornara and headed eastward, planning to cross into your domain within a week. I have ample reason to believe these individuals pose a severe threat to our cause. Their actions, influence, and mere presence in our territories could have devastating effects on the rebellion. You and yours have been the bane of many such problems, and I believe that this is a task that falls within your expertise. Your past services have proved invaluable, and now I implore you to use your resources and abilities to address this situation. Ensure the caravan does not reach its destination. Employ whatever means necessary. This is not merely a request, it is an imperative. I await your success with anticipation. Yours in purpose, Lord Kalis Sardothian.
A name that all of you recognize from your
Seems familiar.
Yes, it would seem that we have been following House Sardothian this entire time, their footsteps that have weaved a path of deception against the Empire.
So with all of this information that you all have uncovered, we will get to a good role-playing moment here for all of you to discuss all of this, but just so I can be certain, is this enough for all of you to start making your way to Crestfall, believing that that is the next stage of your journey in potentially dealing with the Sardothians, as they have seemingly employed these individuals to have facilitated the attack upon your caravan?
Disembodied voice that controls our actions. I have thought nothing but that since the beginning, so I am clearly on par with this plan.
Great. So, given our time constraints, I will say that you all process all of this. There's discussion amongst all of you regarding this new information that you have, and you set out gathering some supplies and whatnot, taking note of the various things here at the Rampart of Rhaleren, but eventually find your way back to your horses and start making your way towards Crestfall. This journey, even on horseback, will take more than a week. And over that time, I'm assuming, being the good adventurers that you are, you set yourselves up with your encampments and take appropriate watches and do all of the things that you would do to try to avoid any potential dangers or threats that are potentially present here in these seemingly dangerous eastern lands, particularly dangerous for a lot of you, apparently. And eventually, as you are about maybe a day and a half out of Crestfall, you are at one of your encampments. And now this is the wonderful opportunity for all of you to discuss all of these things in greater detail that you have learned, and perhaps plan accordingly for what you're about to do.
Before we left, was that wagon on the map, was that an actual available wagon? It was broken?
It was broken, yeah.
Is there any way that we could fix that?
Short of some kind of magic.
Like mending?
I have mending as well.
It would be a little bit more than a simple mending.
I mean, would it be a lot of mending?
Sure. You know
Zorvir
what?
and I just for
right.
You
hours.
guys have a significant amount of magic. We will retcon and say that you managed to get this not quite as comfortable as your previous carriages, but suitable enough, and shackle up a couple of your horses to it to help you on your journey to Crestfall.
I was actually thinking about all of that food that's just sitting up there and loading it up in the wagon and then trying to find a way to send it to the people who need it. What do you
So the
all
best thing that I could
suggest?
tell you from a narrative standpoint is Crestfall is still a city, and even the poorest of cities will have a tender of messengers, which is pigeons and the like. And you know the people that you had spoken to well enough before that you could get a message out to perhaps even back to one of the members of your entourages, and have them inform if you wanted to. That would probably be the better way, because you're probably only gonna get like a 20th of the amount of food that's actually here. So if you actually want the people to come and divest this location, the ramparts of the food stores, that's going to be the best way to go about it. Unless you have like a sending or spell or something.
I actually
like
have
that.
message and sending, so I would probably magically
do a sending spell. Yeah. You could do a sending spell to those people. You talk to them. You knew them well enough. And I will say, with a couple of castings, you're able to get that message out, and potentially those people that were starving could come and collect this food.
In that case, I suggest we leave the mended wagon here for them to use. What do you think?
That works.
Great.
Too.
Awesome.
You had mentioned that there was a chest that we found that had some gold within it. How much gold was that?
About 1,000.
Okay. I would like to, preferably not in the presence of everyone else, but if they happen to oversee it, I really can't control that, I suppose. Take out my masterwork coin pouch, which is a magical coin purse that I have that looks like a regular coin purse, but can fit all 1,000 gold in it and still look like a small little coin purse. And put that back upon my person.
Cool. Okay. So
you're muted. Yeah.
Anything else to retcon here before we get to your opportunity at the at your small traveling encampment? All right.
So we have learned a great deal about our query and exactly what our plan must be. Perhaps we should all sit, share a drink, and perhaps learn a bit more about each other in these quiet moments rather than in the moments of heated battle and pitched argument. What say you, Lord Barrick? Would you share a glass with me? Perhaps break some bread?
Yes, I will do that.
Excellent. Well,
Definitely feel like we learned a lot about Develian during that battle. Just saying.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it, so you'll have to fill me in.
Eric saw enough of it. He has a good perception.
I know.
He might willfully wish he hadn't, but
Yeah.
well, I apologize if my methods were a bit crass and over the top, but they were an enemy that have been a thorn in the side of many people in this area. The revelation that they are not entirely part of the rebellion was a bit of a surprise, however. I was expecting them to be the ringleaders of such a escapade, but they merely are zealots, and I would find that in a true rebellion that is going to make purpose, going to make cause, not going to cause harm to the people, that zealotry does not have a place.
Or it does seem as though they wanted to be in the head of this rebellion, and the rebellion itself was not what they were aiming for.
Did those people even seem to you all to be rebellious? I mean, that dwarven woman, she was just trying to protect herself. I mean, if we didn't threaten...
Are you speaking of the dwarven woman who used illegal magic to summon that really, really large, scary bird that tried to eat me?
Methods be damned. I mean, of course, we all have to make drastic decisions when we feel like our life is at stake, but it just didn't... I don't know, Beric, you've built a life and a career on this. Is this the typical reaction of a rebellious group? Somebody who wants to overthrow an entire empire?
They clearly had their set of ideals.
A set of ideals that was presented to them and then taken away in an instant.
I mean, I think Devellion seems to be on the money. We've got another layer to this. I think that they weren't... I think they were used. I think that their zealotry was used to aid the rebellion, perhaps, by force. I mean, they clearly have...
Wait, no, hold on. You all keep using the word zealotry. All I'm seeing here is strife. All I'm seeing here out of these people and what we heard from those two sermon documents or whatever, proclamations, if you will, I'm not hearing zealotry. I'm not hearing rebellion. I'm hearing desperation. I mean, Zorvir, you saw it yourself with those people. The only reason why they attacked us is because they didn't have food. Even your extensive knowledge didn't reach out to the farthest reaches of the Empire to know that this is going on. I mean, it's the whole reason why we sent the wagon back. I'm more than willing to use my skills and my traits to expand the power of the Empire. But I don't know if it's good enough to be at the risk of those who serve it.
That is a noble gesture, of course, Acris, but might I be so bold as to remind you that the people that Zorvir interacted with were people who were tricked by the Reclaimed, not people who sought out to use the Reclaimed for their own power? Or do you honestly believe that the rebellion is strong enough to turn people of that sort of belief to their will?
I think if the situation and times are desperate enough, any man can be turned in their own ideals. I mean, as far as us who are so solidified within the Empire and its morals and its strength, it may be more difficult, but these people didn't see anything but weakness. And that's all they knew. I mean, how hard is it for a starving dog to turn away a hand with food?
Again, I would perhaps remind you of the amount of food that we found in the Reclaimed's camp. I do not believe the Reclaimed are some sort of underdog hero that needs to be rescued in this case. The Reclaimed clearly were miscreants and evil-themed purposes. I mean, they wish to bring about a darkness that will burn apart the Empire, perhaps take the entire land with it.
And
do you believe that they are victims in this?
And no, I don't know who's a victim in this. Right now, I feel a little bit victimized about what we had to do. I'm a student. I feel as though that although what we did was necessary, there's a hint of misguidance here.
I think there is some zealotry involved with the Reclaimed. I'm somewhat familiar with the teachings of Sombrius. They are about resilience and adaptability and strength and facing the darkness and finding what's on the other side. These words from this cleric are those teachings taken to the extreme. And I do think that the Reclaimed tried to use the rebellion to whatever end they are in search of.
What are we missing here? The only way that a rebellion stands is when they're not getting what they need. The Reclaim be damned. Honestly, that name is tarnished within the Empire and is tarnished within me, and I completely understand that. But what do? We just keep slicing through any of them that show up and then just turn back to the Empire with no resolve outside of death?
Quite the contrary. As we sit here together, sharing a drink, sharing a feast, as it were, perhaps we need to come to understand our query, understand what it is the rebellion stands for, and what exactly it is that, as you say yourself, they are not getting from the Empire. If we understand that, then we shall perhaps understand the men and women of the rebellion a bit better, so that we may interact with them properly.
If we're talking about the rebellion and not the Reclaimed, the people who attacked us and tried to steal our food, it's not only what they're lacking, but it's what's being taken from them. This news that I've learned on this journey is nothing short of appalling. And I feel like we need to bring this to light. We need to bring this information to the Emperor and show him what's been going on out here.
That will probably happen in due course, but again, it sounds as though you are trying to lump the Reclaimed in with the rebellion and in with common farmers, peasantry, folks who are, to be honest, less well off as us. We are privileged people. We have been lucky enough to be in the positions that we are, and it perhaps will be important for us to use that power to protect those who do not have their own. I would suggest that we look at things a bit more objectively. I have heard tales, I have spoken them to you directly about the Reclaimed, about the evils that they are accomplished, about the fact that they have not been individuals that have been misunderstood. I believe that the information that Cassia has found has only proven this, that they have a higher purpose that they believe is more important. The Rebellion are a smaller force, ones that are perhaps still eking out their own place. Can we at least agree upon that?
And what of this Lord?
Lord Sardothian? Well, as I mentioned before, he is a man who feels that he is wronged, feels that he has a cost that must be paid by the Empire, a bit of a recompense that he was not given. And because of such a thing, he will do whatever he must, including aligning himself with a nefarious cult that wishes to burn the Empire to the ground.
I don't wish to continue this conversation. And then Akra stands up from whatever kind of like campfire we're doing, and he looks over at Develian, and he has a stern look, but this one's more so of like, before it was a lot of jests between you and him. It's like, whatever. But this one, you see the look on his face to where every word he's about to say, he means wholeheartedly. And he looks at you, Develian, and he goes, "It's best to mind your tone. when speaking of those who are less fortunate of us, the farmers, the random work hands that you so haphazardly use as pawns for your own enjoyment or even your own business. Not everyone here who is in this position was born in this position. And then he walks off.
Barrick will wait a moment to let, Akris sort of take his leave, but he'll look to the rest of the group. Akris has a unique position in that he is a student. He is learning everything as it is now. I'm bogged down by my own history and the history of the Empire prior to all of this. I think that his insight is very valuable. I know that the Emperor isn't blind to what's going on here. He may be slightly mad, but he's not stupid. I think that what has been happening has been allowed intentionally. And I think that the battalions have been fed nonsense and untruth about what is going on in Intresca. So while I'm convinced that what we just did needed to be done, but I also think that we should turn to Akris for perhaps a better viewpoint that we're not able to express or see.
Some of us have become rather rigid in our thinking.
And I'm one of them. I mean, yeah.
If I could, GM, I think when Akris walks away, he tries to find a quiet place to where he's by himself. And I think he sits down and he kind of looks up at the sky. He looks at his hands, and he kind of just remembers everything that happened in the battle, and then reaches into his pocket and pulls out the symbol of Emradal that he has, super small. And then he looks at it and he goes, I'm in desperate need of some guidance.
So, in this moment for Akris, as he clutches the holy symbol of Imradal in his hand, it feels cold in his hand. The edges of the metal bite into his scaled flesh, and he squeezes it so hard that on one of his fingers it cuts deep enough to draw the tiniest amount of blood out. And he looks down as he draws this blood. He feels the bubbling rage building up inside of him as he sees his own blood smear across Vimredal's holy symbol. And in the moment, he starts contemplating so many different thoughts about Vimredal and his teachings and his understandings and Akris's own life and his sort of religious but not really religious upbringing and everything that led him to this point, and all of that kind of cacophony is just rolling around in his head And in a moment, there is one clear thing that pops into his mind as he's looking down at this holy symbol, and he's wondering, oh my god, did I just desecrate my holy symbol of Imre with blood? Is that sacrilege? Is there something wrong with that? And like, these thoughts are all kind of chaotically permeating in Akris's mind until he hears this voice, and it seems to come from everywhere. Like, the wind carries it across. He feels this vibration in the ground itself, in the tree that he's leaning beside. Other natural sounds kind of echo and reverberate with the voice that seems all-encompassing around him as he hears, "Don't think such thoughts, young one." And instinctively, he just looks up into the sky, and one of the 3 moons of Ysterra, Akris is not egregiously, like, understanding of the celestial bodies and all of this, but he recognizes Lunarin, right? The purple light that emanates from Lunarin in the sky seems to grow brighter and brighter and brighter and larger until it encompasses his entire vision in this night sky. And the moon itself seems to shape and turn and twist and take the form of a draconic face. And he assumes that this face is Vimredal, as the face seemingly looking upon him with a almost caring appearance, certainly more caring than any of the other times that Vimredal has graced Akris with a moment of feeling or thought. But this is the first time that Vimredal has truly, unequivocally spoken to Akris. And as he says, "What troubles you?"
I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't entirely know if these people are in the wrong. Everyone sees enemies of the Empire, and I just see people in need.
Good. You walk paths that is necessary. A path of hardship, a path of trouble, a path you could walk. I believe in you. You have been given gifts beyond what others can comprehend, because you deserve them. And that comes from your desire to question what you do with your gifts and the path that you walk.
Okay. I don't know if I don't know if I'm strong enough to do that, but progress to perfection. And then he kind of just leaves it at that, just not questioning.
As he is walking away, there's this moment that a bird, just an owl maybe, not entirely sure, some bird of the night, kind of flies across Akris's face, and a feather falls away from this bird and slowly drifts a wavering path down to the ground in front of him.
I kneel down and pick up the feather and I look at it.
Soon as Acris's fingers touch this feather, it shimmers with a golden light and changes instantaneously in his hand to a dragon's scale. And he knows, unsure how he knows this, but he knows definitively that he is clutching one of Imredal's scales in his hand.
He squeezes on it tighter and looks up at the sky again, does a respectful nod, and he puts the scale in his pocket and he walks towards back to the camp.
Nice. Any of the rest of you have anything else that you would like to discuss with one another?
I know Zorvir has a lot to think about, and the going back and forth has kind of not necessarily upset him, but he's feeling rather confused and unsure of things, and so he just kind of finds a spot to curl up, pulls a blanket over himself, and does his best to go to sleep.
Sure, fair enough.
Barrick wants to go to Acris and talk with him a bit, but he knows that he is currently seen as not the enemy in Acris's eye, but he is part of this massive problem that has been perpetuated over years and years that Barrick himself has participated in willingly. And so he, even though he wants to go tell him that he is proud of him for asking these questions and for having the courage to do so, he knows that it's better in this moment, at least, to give him space.
All right. Deb, do you have anything else for Cassie?
I think she would just, she's got a decanter of many drinks. I think she would just pull it out and just pass around glasses and kind of invite people to rest for the night, because tomorrow's going to bring more trouble.
Fair enough. And Develian? Kev, do you have anything else for Develian?
No. I'm all set.
Okay.
He is uncharacteristically quiet.
So before we close off for the evening, there's a slight bit of narration that still needs to happen. You all find yourselves falling to sleep. Even Zorvir manages to have sleep overtake him, and it very much overtakes him, almost like from fatigue, from the travel, from the battles, from the stresses, from everything, seems to just wash over him and hit him very hard, and he ends up falling asleep as well. Everyone falls asleep, Develian taking first watch, watch orders established, all of that sort of thing. However, you don't wake up the same. As you all come to awake, you do not feel the comfort of your bedrolls or the hard ground beneath your bodies as you lay when you first drifted off to sleep, in whatever states that you were in. You all feel sore and tired. However, you awaken at slightly different rates. I'll let you decide amongst yourselves next week who awakens first. But as you awaken, you find yourselves in a room. a room with no windows, a single door across from you, simple wooden door, simple wooden room, Spartan, virtually nothing of import in the room other than you. And all of you set up, sitting or laying in various chairs across the space. Your equipment, any magical items, your weapons, all of these things have been removed from your bodies. You find yourselves with your hands bound behind your backs. Of note, several of you feel, particularly Zorvir and Cassia and Akris, feel this almost cotton mouth taste in your mouths, and you find yourselves having difficulty even speaking. And it is worth mentioning that the only one of you that is not present is Develian. And that's where we'll call it for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for the raiders that joined us. Phoenix Iwaki came in with a big raid here at the end as we are signing off for the night. We had some great raids tonight. Absolutely loved it. It was amazing. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to my players here for rolling with all of this craziness that happened tonight. It was so much fun. I loved seeing and being a part of the role play that all of you had. I cannot mention enough how great all of you are, and I can't wait to see what happens next in this story, as I hope all of you cannot wait either. We're going to go around the table real quick and give all of these fine folks an opportunity to tell us about themselves and where they can be found and all of their awesome things that they do on the internet. And we shall start with the one, the only, the absolutely illustrious person down to clown, Beth, please.
God, fuck. Oh, well, old. It was fun. No, I'm Beth. I have been playing Oscar Barrick, a human fighter with a touch of rogue, and I think he's been realizing a lot of things that have, just casually been crumbling his entire identity. Not a big deal.
No biggie.
I can be found on social media at Beth Masco. I can also be found on this very channel here doing all kinds of fun stuff. And I'm very excited to see what comes next.
Indeed. Yeah. Indeed. And the woman that brings the absolute best out of all of us and certainly helps keep some of us alive, sort of, Deb. Deb, please tell us about yourself and where these fine folks can follow you.
Yes, I'm Deb. I was playing Cassia, the half-elven cleric. I'm on Instagram at dsweats. I hang out here and play games Wednesday nights for the next couple weeks. I think I'm playing in a game that Kev's leading on Sunday, so that'll be really fun. Yes. Check that out. And it's such a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Miko.
Thank you for reading those zealous sermons.
Those were very intense, by the way.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. Thank you so much, Deb. And your oos, my oos, everybody on the internet's favorite oos, Ian, my friend. How you doing, bud?
Oh, God, I need to decompress hard after this.
Right.
Tonight was amazing. Thank you so much, again, Miko, for allowing me to share this space with all of you.
Anytime. Yeah, hey. Anytime.
Appreciate it. Hey, you guys, I'm Ian. I played Akris Shorejock, the Dragonborn Warlock with the Splash of Barbarian. You can find me on all social medias at your boy Big, which is YABOIBIG. And of course, I will be here for the remaining of the campaign that we're having, which has, again, been stellar. Sundays are my content days. So this coming Sunday, you can find me on Times Lord Wife's channel playing a Wood Elf in her Dragon Rider campaign. I think we're about to get our dragons. Super excited for that. My late nights on Sundays have gone on a break, so just stay tuned for what's coming with that. But if you're down to clown like Beth is, Thursdays, go to Magic RPG and you can see the final episode of a 3-parter for Hunter the Reckoning, where I play Marcus Thane, who is a drug dealer. That's basically what he is, honestly.
I mean, yeah, let's be honest.
Yeah, he's basically what he is. But yeah, just follow me on my Twitter mostly, and you'll see what I'm having or going on next. Oh, and I keep forgetting this. To all your major podcast platforms, if you want to go to Emergent Code for our Animon series, I'm in an actual play podcast as well. Super amazing. We're just about to get into the thick of it and the 3rd episode, so it's a good listen. Enjoy.
Nice, absolutely. And the maestro of Wanderer's Haven, the man that brings the wanderer to this haven, Jeremy, what you got going on, my friend?
What do I have going on? What I have going on is I'm thinking we need to get some clown emojis for the channel.
We do.
That say like down to clown or something like that. Yep. Or Beth being like, and there's a down to clown coming out or something. I'm Jeremy. You can find me here on the channel. I know
somebody that can do that.
Oh yeah,
nice. Let's make that happen, because I mean, I really like my coffees, but we have a whole bunch of open space that we need to fill up emojis. So
yes, we do.
Can't wait.
Yes, yeah, it's gonna be amazing. You can find me here and also on Twitter at WH Pubs and most of the other social places at WH Pubs. Or you can head over to whpublications.com and see all of the things that I've published and have coming out, which is not a lot right now because school. But anyway, I think that's everything.
School getting in the way.
Right?
Don't they
Sunday,
know you have a gaming life?
I know, right? This Sunday, I'm also in a game with Deb that Kevin's running, but I'm going to have Kevin talk about that. So,
okay, sure. Cool.
Speaking of Kevin, the guy that does way too many things on the internet,
way too many things,
has started to learn to finally say, no, I'm too busy. Thankfully, he's not too busy enough for us. He has graced us here with a wonderful character in Develian. Please, Kev, tell everybody about yourself.
No, sorry, we're out of time. No.
And with that, I'm so sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, no, I'm Kevin. I can be found online to the socials at KevRan Games. I am part of the production team here on Wanderer's Haven with Jeremy and Beth and Miko, who you see around. And yeah, I'm always down to clown with the games too, so it's good that we're all here together sharing the moment. I also stream. I'm the U.S. ambassador for the Lanat Eterna game, which is a new 5th edition Grimdark setting that is coming over from Italy. It's very cool, lots of high magic. Right now we're about to conclude our first arc. It's like a murder mystery type of situation. They're about to square off against an evil necromancer who's been putting together some body parts for some nefarious purposes. That'll be Friday over on that channel at 9 p.m. And then on Sunday, right here on Wanderer's Haven, I am running another episode of We Get to Play, where we get to play Ink by Snowbright Studios. It's a super awesome, rad game where all the characters are dead. They're in the afterlife, and they have a new quest that they begin there. That's really cool. There's really weird monsters. They could turn into weird, like, ghost creatures, and maybe there's some coffee. I don't know. So it kind of fits right in with all the stuff we love. So
yeah, I almost thought tonight that I was going to play Zorvir as his ghost self.
There you go.
Oh no.
There you go. But yes. So yeah, but this was great, Miko. Thank you so very much. Another great installment. I apologize. The last 15 minutes I had no sound. I don't know what happened. So I missed
technology
pretty much from Ian, like, I'm gonna look at Develian and say this really serious thing, and I was like, no. So I don't know what you said, boy. I don't know what you said. I will watch it. We'll find out. And I'm sure it was amazing, though.
You're going to have to watch the VOD, sir.
I will. But yeah, this was great. So thank you very much. I look forward to next week, because apparently I'm not with the group. I'm really worried what that might mean for me.
You say that like you don't know what's going on.
Everybody loves me so much. So
to be fair, he doesn't actually know what's going on.
Yeah. So
above table.
That's it.
You've been
I'll message
you. I'll fill you in, Kev. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure we're good. But yeah, this was a blast, though. Thank you so much.
You've got that backup character still, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure. So, thank you, everyone,
Develian's twin brother,
taking...
who's way more obnoxious. No.
After that fee. Thank you everyone for joining in with us tonight. Big shout out to all of our raiders. I am Miko. You can find me on the internets at the_case_GM. I play games, run games, create things for games, all kinds of stuff, produce games. I'm all over the place. I do all kinds of silly things. Hit me up on the internet, on Discord, Twitter, whatever, if you're all interested in stuffs. This has been a blast. Thank you again so much, everyone. We have a giveaway. Are we finishing that giveaway? No? Okay. All right. Pay attention to chat, I guess. Thank you so much, everyone. We are going to raid over to Dork Tales. They are some awesome folks over there. We love those guys. Yeah, we're happy to send some folks their way. We shall see all of you next week. We get to find out what has happened to our illustrious party that seems to have suffered some ill fate. Not the least of which might be Develian and his ill fate.
Oh man, they all hope
for
I'm
now,
dead
everyone.
so much.
See ya in a week.